deliver a message of reassurance at a difficult moment.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. In Gaza, as Israel keeps battling Hamas militants, the UN says more than 500,000 Palestinian civilians have been displaced again, many leaving Rafah, where the U.S. warns an Israeli operation could cause a humanitarian crisis. Now to the Trump trial in New York.
This is a scam. I think it's a terrible thing that's happening to democracy.
Now, today, the former president's ex-lawyer, Michael Cohen, will testify again about an alleged Trump affair he kept quiet, and Fox's Brooke Singman reports.
Former President Trump's defense team could begin their highly anticipated cross-examination to push back on that testimony. Now, in his first day on the stand, Cohen testified to personally paying $130,000 to Stormy Daniels by using a home equity line of credit to hide it from his own wife. Cohen said he did that because Trump wanted the story taken care of and buried until after the 2016 election. Cohen says former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg facilitated his reimbursement plan.
The former president's charged with falsifying records in those reimbursements. In federal court nearby, jury selection will resume in Democratic Senator Bob Menendez's bribery trial. In Baltimore, demolition crews took a big step clearing the wreckage of the bridge collapse, removing a big span still sitting on the bow of the cargo ship that rammed the bridge in March, taking it down, killing 6 workers. This will clear the way for them to finally move that ship. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It's Tuesday, a great day. Everybody, who doesn't love Tuesday? Well, at least that's what I typically don't. You're right. But that's what our show notes said last night when Lowe's emailed them out. Tuesday,
I saw.
Not the armpit, and we're going to go with that. We're gonna be positive, and I like that.
I'm not falling for it.
No, well, me either. And Lowe's hasn't made it yet, so I assume he's on his way, and we'll have to see what is maybe it's not the armpit that's caused him to run late. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's bad traffic or something.
Well, that would make it a bad Tuesday, wouldn't it?
I would think, but yes, I mean, I don't know.
He jinxed himself.
He did
by trying to make it look like Tuesday was going to be a great day. I mean, you can tell it rained.
Yeah.
As soon as I woke up, I said, "It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's
There's
Tuesday."
Nothing good. Look there he was walking in the door. There he is. He's coming on in. And we'll get him situated and settled.
I think he got accosted by some drunk Cubs fan on the way over.
Well, look, it was random. I did notice an unusual amount of people walking in the Battery this morning. It was normally I see one at the most. Today, I want to say I saw like 3 different people wandering around out there. I don't know what they were doing.
That's what happened to Lowe's. He was getting followed by one of those nasty Cub fans.
It's dirty, rotten.
It's gross out there, by the way.
No kidding. It's
horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's Tuesday, buddy. It's Tuesday. I know it's not the armpit.
You jinxed yourself.
It's not the armpit.
It's not the armpit.
Man, it's gross out there.
That's right.
It don't rain on a Friday.
Yeah, right. Even rain on a Friday is fine. Because it's more tolerable than
everybody on 400 was like, hey, I'm going to drive 20 miles an hour.
And I'm going to keep you from going. Yeah. We're all going to be like in a...
I'm sitting there flying like, here we go.
What is it what the police do when they're pacing traffic? They were pacing Lowe's.
They were tracing.
Oh, no, there was a Fulton County, it was a Fulton County marshal. And I'm like, I really want to accelerate. Like, I really want to get going.
I always do, man.
But then in my mind, I'm like, what if he decides, like, maybe today's the day to get, like, the speeder on 400?
Like his wife didn't pack his lunch or something happened this morning. Or it could have been a female, too. I don't know. Maybe she
had a tough evening and he just decided, I'm pulling this dude over.
Yeah. on the way home from Charleston with Big Jacob up, I got pulled over.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Did you fight him? Did you do the tug card?
No.
I'm Tug.
I'm Tug Coward.
Yeah,
You know me.
He had been like, good, here, sign your ticket, Tug. No.
I raise money for police all the time. Great. Sign this ticket.
Sign this one.
Add this one in.
You're about to raise some more. No, I was doing about 9 miles over, I guess.
Oh, okay. That's wrong then.
I thought 9 was fine.
So did I. I had the speed limit was 70. I had it set on 79, the cruise control. There was a car in front of me, that was scooting right along.
Sure.
And anyway, he pulls in behind me, pulls me over, and I was just very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's all the things you need. Had everything ready when he was when he got to the car.
Yeah.
He was like, all right.
Well, make it easy on him, Tug.
Did he tase you?
No, he didn't.
Oh, man.
He gave me a warning. And,
okay. That's nice.
I was like, well, yeah, I was doing 9. Why are you wasting our time here? But
that's what you should have said to him. What are you wasting my time for, copper?
I didn't.
Show him your hand. You go, ha!
Yeah, that's right. Look at here, sir.
Go back to your car. Ha!
That's right. Some kung fu
move. Grab his shoulder and try to put that little pressure point that Dr. Spock did.
Right.
Not Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock.
Yeah.
Or you could have just leaned in and gave him a gentle kiss on the cheek and say, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you for saving. Thank you for saving my family's life.
Thank you for saving my family's life.
That's right. That's right.
That would go over real well.
Seriously, and then I would have gotten
Try that
ticket.
Thursday at Back the Blue. Just go up to a random police officer that we're supporting, give him a kiss, and tell him you appreciate him.
I'm glad you're here.
Here's a biscuit.
So odd. It's so odd and funny, hysterical. I don't know that I'm brave enough to do it, though. You know what I mean? There's just some things that I'm just not. I don't know that I'm brave enough to do. That might be one of them.
Yeah.
Like skydiving, I loved it. Bungee jumping, I loved it. Roller coasters, I love it. Kissing a cop? It just,
how about telling them your car identified as a race car?
Yeah, I'm not.
My car identifies as a race car. I can't slow it down.
Seriously, do you not see the engine under the hood? What do you want me to do with this, sir?
I just have a certain level of respect for grown men that I'm like, I'm not going to kiss you on the cheek, but I hope Tug does.
That way he gets the brunt of the punishment. Ow! As I'm laying on the ground and they got my arm behind my back, cuffing me.
Wouldn't it be awesome, Rhino, if that's how he got tased?
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was acting belligerent. It was just because he gave a man a kiss on the cheek.
Small kiss.
Just a little peck right there on the
Small
cheek.
kiss. I appreciate your service to the community.
Would we not be covering that court trial?
I would like to think so.
I would be
I'm
there.
Fight it
Lowe's would be there.
I would fight it in court. I would fight that.
Just hold signs up in the in the stand.
It was
saying,
only a kiss. It was only a kiss.
Tug is love.
Tug is love.
That's right. Yeah, man. But thankfully, he was. He gave me the warning, and I was like, it was 9 over, sir. 9, you're fine. That's what we even asked. Where were we when we asked? Or you asked that?
Yeah, I asked it to one of the police officers that came in here one day to
we asked
sit
the chief.
with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
we asked the chief when we were over at the fire department.
At the fire department, that's what it was. And the chief said, use the 9, you're fine.
He basically flat out said, 10 and over, okay, you might have an issue.
Fine, you're fine.
9 and under, okay.
9, you're fine. 10, you're mine. I thought that was the way.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
the old saying went. But
because I set mine when it's 70, I set it at 79. When it's 65, I set it at 74. I mean, that's the way that works.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway.
I'm not trying to brag. It's not like I'm doing 30 miles over, but you're right. If it's 70, then 78 feels about right.
It does, yeah. Especially when you're just going with the flow of traffic. It'd be different if I was blazing through people, but I wasn't. I wasn't even keeping up with the person in front of me.
It's like you painted a number on your car and were weaving in and out of traffic.
I want to, though.
Yeah, me too.
Now,
I will say, last time I went to North Carolina, I did 106.
Jeez. What were you driving?
My truck. I wanted to see if I could get it to 106.
A DeLorean.
Yeah, like he was going back to the future.
Yeah. I just kept hitting it.
I want to fix some things from 1985.
There was nobody there. I was like, wow, this is really straight away. I mean, I could see for like 2.5 miles. It was just, cotton fields. And I was like, all right, look, I'm going to open this up and see if I could get it to 100. And I got to 106 and got nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm going to slow down now.
The fastest I've ever driven is about $124. And it was on I-16.
Yeah.
When I was still in the Navy, back home to Jacksonville. There's nothing on 16.
Nothing.
It is just not. And this was, 20 years ago. even less on 16.
Nothing there.
I mean, I was just like, all right, because I had that Mustang GT. I was like, let's see what this thing will do. The hood started waving. I was like, I'm about to lose my hood.
Yeah.
So I backed it off real quick. But that's the fastest I've ever driven. Except for, like at a racetrack when you do the
I did 210 on Jones Beach. So Jones Beach, it's a straightaway, and there's a lot of beaches. So you have different
You
towns.
were 210 miles an hour?
Yeah, I was in a Lamborghini. It was a Countach, and we borrowed it. And so they used to do...
What do you mean you borrowed it? That's an odd way to
a very weird way.
That's the best way for me to say that.
You stole a car?
Well...
I don't believe any of the story. I believe 0% of the story.
It was...
Just cancel this at this point.
Yeah,
my friend's father owned a luxury automobile, and they were used cars, and there were keys, and late at night they did drag racing at Jones Beach. So the beach had about a 5-mile straight stretch. That's all it was. And these guys would go out with their IROCs, and everybody would kind of drag race and do that.
IROC, I love it.
And one day my friend convinced me to go with him and take his father's car from the dealership there. And we knew where the keys were. We took him over to the beach, and he was too afraid to drive it. And I said, I'll do it. Well, it wasn't mine. What do I care? And so we went up against this guy who had this really nice IROC, and he kept saying he was going to destroy us. And I said, okay. And I hit it and didn't realize how quick that car took off. And I just kept going. And my buddy was looking. He goes, you're at 210. And I freaked out, man. Freaked out. And it was one of the scariest moments. I don't think I'd ever do it again. I don't think I'd ever get up. 106 was scary at this age. Like you get older and things start getting really scary when you're like 50.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that again.
Morning Extra and Extra 1063. The end of democracy is nigh. I mean, it is coming sooner rather than later.
Oh, sad faces.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to. Did I start this Tuesday out poorly? I didn't mean to.
Well, it is Tuesday. It's the armpit of the week.
I know. On Morning Joe, all you have to do, and it's your fault. You listening right now, it's actually your fault that this is happening. Anyone who votes Republican is voting to end democracy.
We have a vote. We're going to have a vote this fall. And I know a lot of Republicans, John Meacham would call them Peter Millar vest-wearing Republicans, who just want to pretend that it's Bob Dole against Bill Clinton. They're going, well, I just always vote for a Republican. No, this year, you're not just voting for a Republican. It's a vote for a candidate who doesn't believe in the most basic principles of American democracy. And we could go down the list, but I really don't want to waste my breath on it because everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about, the killing of generals and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you have Republicans, those Peter Millar vest-wearing Republicans who want to say, it's just like, it's Republicans and Democrats. What's the difference? No, it's a vote actually for somebody that does not subscribe to the most basic precepts of American democracy against a candidate who does.
Okay, wait.
Whoa.
Which precepts of American democracy does Donald Trump not subscribe to? He never went into it. He never had an answer.
Because he doesn't have an answer.
Of course he doesn't.
Because he doesn't even know the answer. He doesn't even understand what democracy is or understand what they're talking about. He's spouting out a point he's told to spout out. What's he talking about? Killing generals. Donald Trump killed generals? Is that something that I don't know about? Because I feel like that would be news.
Out there.
I think you'd get convicted for killing generals a lot more than you would for this fake Stormy Daniels trial. This is a joke, and this is they don't know what to do, Carlos, at this point. They're like, well, how do we win? We can't win on the economy. We can't win on immigration. We can't win on any issues Americans care about. Let's just make up lie after lie and then just call Republicans names.
Well, I never found a staffer of mine dead in my office. But Joe Scarborough did. All right, well, whatever. Let's just bring something up from years ago just to be like, as long as we're having this fun of making a point of saying, well, this is what you're saying, but let's bring up something from the past to go ahead and harm you. Joe, you had a dead staffer in your office. Whatever. Okay, whatever. But it still goes back to, if you're telling me that all the things you're worried that would ruin a democracy, we've already ruined the democracy, okay? 2020 already killed it, okay? We crossed the Rubicon at that point. Now it's just a matter of, can we reel things back in? And the further that you push after 2020 in facilitating the things that have gone on since then, as far as using lawfare, as far as mandating the things that you're doing, as far as harming free speech, all that is coming from the Democrat Party. It's not having to do with me. I didn't do anything. Okay? The people I voted for aren't doing this sort of stuff outside of voting for a TikTok bill. Okay.
And then on top of that, you have polling that, and look, I know polling is what it is. Sometimes you get some information, sometimes you get told what to think, or at least trying to be influential in what you think. But most every poll I've seen so far, when people ask who's a better protector of democracy, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, it's always Donald Trump. I mean, so what, was Joe not see those same polls that we see?
Well, if you're going to look at it, yeah, absolutely. Because if you really look at what's going on, democracy was threatened when they said, hey, you're not allowed to vote for the candidate you want to vote for.
We're gonna pull him
He's
off
not
the
a
ballot.
criminal, and we're going to pull him off a ballot.
Right.
That was done by the Biden administration and Democrats. I guess we should say, I don't know. I'm not going to make fun of Democrats like he wanted to do, but, that's what happened. The democracy is putting a man on trial for things that he really didn't do, and then trying to up that and saying, hey, even though the FEC said, nope, no violation, even though the state of New York said, nope, no violation, you upgrade it to a felony to try to get him, that's a threat to democracy.
Well, let's pull back a layer, right? Hey, 6:16 in the morning, you're driving along, you're listening to the show. Democracy is the economy, okay? Democracy is the economy. And so when you're telling me that you're establishing free markets and you're letting the economy run as it's going to run, not picking winners, not the whole pseudo economy of who's, here's what the government's decided that this big pharma company is going to be a winner. If you're talking about the threat to democracy, it comes from if you're trying a top-down design on the economy. And what happens when you poll? Donald Trump is plus like 18 when it comes to handling the economy.
Especially with young people.
Versus Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you tell me who's the threat to democracy, I will tell you who's the threat to the economy.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden is the threat to the economy.
I swear that man must have been trying to get like a Peter Millar NIL deal or something.
Yeah.
Many times he mentioned Peter Millar. Was he just like trying to shame people who wear Peter Millar? Because I don't own any Peter Millar
Neither
stuff.
do I.
I think it's out of my price range. But if he's trying to shame those people that are on the upper end of the pay scale, maybe that's what he was doing.
Because I'm sure he wears a Cole suit every day to work there, Joe
Right.
Scarborough.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I got this George suit at Walmart today.
George Zimmerman, may he rest in peace, hooked me up with this suit.
Yeah, look at there. Yeah.
I got this from Goodwill.
You're going to like the way you look, I guarantee you. It's $200.
That's
It's so foolish.
It's the Morning Extra, Extra 106.3.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta. Your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, my computer just crashed, and so did all my news stories.
That's all right. We're going to fight through this together.
That's right. The Braves won last night.
Yeah, they did. They won 2-0, and it was pretty cool to see Zach Short, who was filling in for Austin Riley, step up to the plate and go ahead and break the scoreless tie and end up winning 2-0. They're going to do it again tonight, which is fun.
What a
Can't wait.
hilarious situation, by the way, to have a guy that you just brought over in a trade. And as soon as Austin Riley, who, by the way, it's just inflammation, it's not a tear to the oblique. He's supposed to be day-to-day. He should be back in a couple of days, but the guy who's filling in for him immediately gets things going and gets things rolling for this offense.
Absolutely. Then Ronald Acuna Jr. follows it up with a single to bring in Short, leading the Braves to that 2-0 victory over the Chicago Cubs at Truist Park last night. Tonight, Chris Sale will take the mound for Game 2 against the Cubs with the first pitch scheduled for 7:20. An absolutely horrifying and disgusting incident is how Dr. Sabine Lovell describes what happened to her at a Whole Foods store in Chamblee. The doctor recounts that while she was bending down to grab a bag of chips, a man in his late 20s or 30s ejaculated on her back. Initially mistaking it for spilled coffee, she turned around only to witness the man hastily zipping up his pants before she began screaming and chasing after him. Police are currently searching for a black male approximately 5'11" tall who fled the scene in a black Kia Niro. And former Facebook and Nike DEI executive Barbara Furlow Smiles has been sentenced to over 5 years in prison for embezzling more than $5 million from the companies. In addition to serving time, Furlough Smiles has been ordered to repay the stolen sum to the penny. She utilized company credit cards to finance her lavish lifestyles across both California and Georgia.
When we come back, a conspiracy theory. As it turns out, isn't all that conspiratorial at all. The conspiracy theorists seem to be getting it right over and over and over again. We'll explain next on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
The latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust. Your best new follow on social media is Extra 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
It's time to slide into summer at Truist Park as your Braves take on the Washington Nationals and Oakland A's May 27th through June 2nd. And don't miss two exciting giveaways like the Ronald Acuna Jr. NL MVP bobblehead presented by Delta on May 28th, followed by the Matt Olson bobblehead presented by Northside Hospital on May 30th. There's no better place to spend your Memorial Day and the first week of summer than Truist Park. Head to Braves.com/promos to get your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Everybody wants to feel like they're getting a good deal. That's why EMC Security customers love their monthly rate from just $16.95. In fact, for such a low price, you'd think you'd have to sacrifice service or quality. Not with EMC Security. You get it all. Low price, A+ Better Business Bureau rated service, lightning fast response, and flexible purchasing options, including their popular no contract option. Visit emcsecurity.com or call 770-963-0305 today to learn how you can get a free security camera with new activation.
Being in an accident really bites. You need people around you that are going to make the whole process easier to deal with. I just described David Van Sant at Van Sant Law. He used to work for the insurance companies. What an advantage. He knows who to call, what to say, and they're not going to pull the wool over his eyes. Give him a call. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly Magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Celebration Village of Ackworth.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Cochran, Executive Director for Celebration Village Ackworth, the area's premier senior living community right here in Cobb County. We are located in Ackworth, Georgia, conveniently right off Cobb Parkway, Highway 41, within a mile of prime retailers, but still providing the privacy and peace of nature. We're offering true continuum of care with independent living, concierge living, assisted living, and memory care apartments. We currently offer the largest independent living apartments in our market. Our residents enjoy restaurant-style dining with seasonal menus featuring fresh ingredients and home-style meals. We offer resort-style amenities, transportation services, and a true maintenance-free lifestyle. We have had a long-running relationship with Our Town Monthly because we share the motto, family and community first.
Thanks, guys. We adore your amazing community. Friends, check out Celebration Village of Ackworth. It's a true senior living retreat. Tell them Our Town said hello.
Extra 106.3 and Fox are red. CNN and CBS are blue. If you want conservative news and talk, we have just the app for you. Search for the Extra app wherever you download apps.
I think the point of view of what happened at Duke University is all backwards, to be honest with you. They should point out how few people got up and left when Jerry Seinfeld spoke, and he didn't address it. He didn't flinch. He just rolled through it the way he was supposed to. He's such a pro, and I think so much of Jerry Seinfeld. He's one of my favorites. Always has been, always will be. Now, something happened at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia that they reached out and apologized to a bunch of nursing students that their names were mispronounced at the graduation that happened last week. The woman reading the names butchered a ton of them, and it's not like they were hard names. It was Elizabeth and then Thomas, which is part of the university's name, its own name, and she still butchered them.
Victoria Lee Zubin Ross. What the heck? Victoria Elizabeth. Gross. Not what she said. Marlena. Oh, Melanie. Zobeth. Molly. Carolina. Urina. Tom May.
That'd be Thomas. Dude. I mean, it's like you remember the Key and Peele sketch when he was like, hey, Ron, you know what I mean? And D-Nice. That's what it reminded me of. Like, it sounded like a sketch. It didn't sound real.
I watched I think it was like 7 minutes of this video, and I was so confused how she even got to these names. Like, some of them weren't even close. Like, the Thomas one was really, really funny, but there were so many others where you're like, that literally says Elizabeth, and whatever she just said, I don't know how you allowed that person to say these people's names.
The Sarah Virginia Brenman, the lady said, say Uvan Geen Gubrinun. And that was supposed to be Sarah Virginia Brennan.
How would you possibly even look at a name like Thomas and think it's anything other than Thomas?
Jack it up.
Right?
I have no idea, man.
Like, I'm not, like, if I was to read y'all's names and be like, Tug, Rhino, I wouldn't be going like, Hoog.
Yeah,
Rehino. How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. We did we called Joe Goey, so maybe, in our own sweet way, we did it with
but that's
Goey.
Joe with a G.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If you gave me your name and it was Goe, I might go, is his name Goey?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they released a whole statement saying they're, so sorry, and this video, the video of this that we just played, has gotten like 500,000 views or something, and that was at the end of the week last week. So by now, it's probably in the millions of this lady just butchering these people's names.
Academics, man.
It's unreal, dude. It's unreal that it could even happen, yet it does all the time. Anywho, and since we're on the topic of education, Rhino, we'll talk about the tact, the angle that Joe Biden has taken with education, and it's hurting him with Hispanic voters especially.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I know that a lot of the Hispanic voters were coming out saying, hold on, we're really upset about the way you're allowing these illegal criminals to come across the border and not working with us. And one of the things that a lot of the Hispanics are really afraid of is what's happening here in this country right now with all the illegals coming across, because it does really push a lot of their cases back so they can deal with all these illegals that have come here and just crossed the border. But I was very surprised to start to read about a lot of the Hispanic communities took advantage, especially the ones that were here legally during 2020, to say, hey, I'm done with this public education. I want my child to be educated. I want them to come here. We came here so they'd have a better life, a better education, and they'd have a future. So they enrolled in charter schools. They looked for any kind of state that might have something like we have here in the state of Georgia, which is school choice. That's very important to the Hispanic community. So when it comes to education, Biden is starting to lose those numbers. They won't vote for him because they're afraid of losing good education for their children.
I know friends of mine that have come to this country legally. I bring Mike Macho up all the time, and he would gladly come on this show to talk about it because he's so pronounced in his beliefs. Like he's like, I don't understand how anybody could invite this and unvetted people just coming over the border by the millions and flooding the country. And then, when we get into the discussion, he understands what's actually happening, which is all about, if we can't get you to vote for us, we'll replace you with someone who will. I mean, there's a reason you see people wearing Joe Biden t-shirts and chanting Joe Biden as they come across the border illegally. That's the problem right there. But people who have come here legally have come here legally, the way the process works and done it the right way, they are sick and tired of it. They're fed up with people being able to jump line. It's like standing in line at Six Flags and just a group of people just goes right in front of you. Yeah. Nobody would allow that. But yet we allow it at our southern border.
Well,
go ahead.
I grew up with this in Texas, and it does change the academics of what goes on when you start to have the amount of illegals that start coming into your country. What happens is they start entering into your schools, and it slows everything down. And so you have certain, basically the schools have to make cutouts for, okay, these are students that can only speak Spanish. All right, so there's only a certain pace they can get to. Then once there is a large amount of those students, then it starts affecting the entire educational system within the school. So, like I said, educators will tell you all day long, as much as you might be able to handle, hey, a kid here or there, once it's in mass, it starts to ruin education for everyone.
It really does. And one of the interesting things, Carlos, too, that, a lot of people brought up when it came to being Hispanic and coming to this country is the fact that Biden is not paying attention to them, number one, but Biden is also looking down on them as a people. He's treating them like they're dumb, like they're stupid. We've seen it with the black community and what they said, and Kathy Hochul about they don't even know what a computer is nor what it does. Well, they're treating the Hispanic community the same way, saying that, they're not well educated. They're not here for an education. They need help. They are looking for jobs in farming industry. And a lot of these families are like, no, that's not why we came here. We came here because we do want an education that will prepare our kids for the future, to get them into a good field so that they may become better citizens here in this country. He is so missing out on this. And I think a lot of people are losing respect, saying, we don't want you pandering to us, telling us we need handouts. What we want is to be able to get an education, to be able to go to church. They're more conservative than he gives them credit for.
Opportunity is all anybody's looking for, in my opinion. I'm not saying people don't need a hand up on occasion in life, because people lose jobs. People go through medical, turmoil in their life with loved ones, and friends, and family. People do need a hand up occasionally, but it's not a handout that people are begging for. They're begging for that opportunity, and it makes me wonder if that's not why some of these polling numbers that CNN are pushing out, where Trump leads in Nevada by 13 points, in Georgia by 9 points, Arizona by 6 points, Pennsylvania by 3, Wisconsin by 1, Michigan by 2. It shows me that this is affecting everyone, and it's showing up in the polling. That's my interpretation.
Yeah, well, I think your interpretation's right on. There's no doubt he shouldn't be winning all these swing states. And even when you look at Michigan, you're looking at a number that you're like, wow, Donald Trump's well within the margin of error. And there's a good chance that he could actually swing that state and win that state as well. But we saw in New Jersey, which is a blue state, that alone shows you the difference in the way people are starting to think about the way this country should run. California, you're seeing an uprising in more conservative people. Look, that state's never going red. It won't even get to purple. But you are starting to see more people show up and come out because they're like, hey, they're just coming across the border, and now we're in debt, and we continue to give them money. Or look at the homeless situation here. Look at the crime situations here. Everybody is starting to, because, there are so many great contributors that came here legally that are working. You bring up Mike Macho. These are people who are working. Well, guess where they're getting grouped in? They're getting grouped in with the illegals, the criminals, the ones that shouldn't be here, and they shouldn't be grouped in with them.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3.
Well, we're a generation removed.
Go ahead, Los.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, I'm just saying we're a generation removed from seeing California disappear in the way that it did. You are talking about, when Ronald Reagan allowed for having basically a form of amnesty, that basically guaranteed that you were going to have California become a blue state. And so when you look at what's happened a generation later, this is just California en masse. It's the same game plan as what happened during the 1980s.
I want to point out something that Bill Maher said. He is a lefty loony, and Los, I think you'll really like this. There's no doubt he's not on our side. He's never going to be on our side. But I'm okay with pointing out when he admits we were right about so many things. I want you to hear him talking about during his monologue in his show this past weekend about the conspiracy theorists that were right all along on COVID.
I get it that we didn't know exactly what was happening at the beginning of COVID, and some mistakes were inevitable. But 4 years on, I'm tired of hearing, well, we didn't know. No, we didn't. But some people guessed better than others. And the people who got it wrong don't seem to want to acknowledge that now. Some people said closing schools for so long was pointless and would cause much worse collateral damage to kids, and they were right. 4 years ago, the Daily Beast ran a story with the headline, Bill Maher pushes Steve Bannon Wuhan lab conspiracy theory, which was typical of the mainstream media at the time. Of course, it wasn't a conspiracy theory, and it wasn't owned by Steve Bannon. And now everyone, including the Biden administration, admits there's at least a 50-50 chance that the virus could have begun in the lab in Wuhan that was doing gain-of-function research on that virus. Duh. But I don't see a lot of retractions being printed. Yeah, when COVID hit, we did a lot of stupid things because America never reacts. It only overreacts.
Amen.
Yeah.
Dude, everything he said was spot on. It was dead on. He's a lefty loony. Do not be misled. He is a lefty. He is. But when he's right, and especially when he's pointing out that we were right, I'm happy to point that out and share that with everyone.
Well, here's the biggest problem with it, though, okay? You continually get proven wrong. You're not, look, I'm not expecting him to get a red pill, but he should, shouldn't he? Because
I think maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Is he going to go? He's not voting for Trump.
No, by no
means.
He's
not voting for a Republican. He's going to vote for Joe Biden. And he's going to continue down that same path. He's already talked. I'm going to vote for the same group and the same people that I continually bash. Why? Why? You talk about the lies they tell every single day, and you're talking about it here. It wasn't that we guessed right. You know what it was? That we actually did research. Carlos didn't guess what was happening. Carlos went and read the facts. I didn't guess what was happening. I went and read what Israel was talking about, what Italy was talking about, what other countries were seeing, and what the Wuhan lab put out there.
I've become incredibly cruel with this. I had a cruel thought over the weekend because I think about it in those terms of listening to the amount of scientists who brought these sort of, at the time they were hypotheticals, but they were like, it was all based on good research. For instance, when you think about like Gerder Van den Bosch, and he was like, this is why you do not vaccinate during a pandemic, because you inspire many different strains to then emerge. Think about it. We were dealing with new strains, about every 3 months?
Yep.
Where have they gone?
Yeah. They're still out there.
Amazing how we stopped this mass vaccine program, and there's no more of these crazy strains showing up.
Well, they're probably doing gain of function, so there should be some right around election time, right when you're
still
like,
out there.
right when we need drop boxes, probably.
That's right.
But I guess in my mind, when I say
you're right.
But when I say it was cruel, my thinking was over the weekend was, I spent so much time listening to all these doctors that were treating these people and that were trying different things, and then I realized I didn't kill Grandma.
Right.
You did.
Yeah, and now you
didn't listen.
You can be responsible for it. And look, I fully admit, like when we're in the middle of it, I was like, none of this feels right. And everything I would read, because I was probably foolish and went to Google and plugged it in, but everything that I read just didn't make sense, and it didn't sit well with me. And I remember being made fun of because I wasn't going to go to Costco because I wasn't wearing a mask. I thought it was stupid, and it still is, and it was. Common sense played into a lot of that too, I believe. Just common sense would tell you that it's not kids, it's not healthy adults, it's the elderly that needed the help or needed to stay away from this virus, and that proved to be the truth.
It was the truth, and it continues to be the truth, and that's what's so frustrating, because you hear the crowd behind them like trained seals, like, and they actually agree with them. But guess where they're going to vote? For the same people that hurt your children, for the same people. Yeah, you're going to continue to fall in line. Speak up. Either vote for Donald Trump, and if you don't, that's fine.
Don't vote at all.
Just don't vote.
Yes, that's the way to go. Let's make that the option. Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We're on the air until 10. And when we come back, if you want an accurate snapshot of what's happening in your community, drop by the barbershop. Next on the Morning Extra, we're on the air until 10. Then Beck, then Clay and Buck, then the local afternoon show with the camera 3 until 6.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. Look out. The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6, just like the Kimmer. Did you see the story of the girl in Arizona State who found out she's one of the protesters, and she found out, you're not going to graduate because you're not going to be able to go to this. She says, oh, God, she's crying. And she says, so I have family coming in. I'm going to have to tell them, don't come to my graduation because I'm not going to graduate. And then she says, well, it was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it, hating the Jews and calling for the destruction of Israel. What's the matter with these people? And again, what kills me is if you're a protester and you really mean it, you ought to be able to suffer the consequences and say, boy, this was really a learning lesson.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Everybody in this building today has allergies that are just going crazy bored up. Joe, you got Rhino, me, and Los all together, man, just struggling with allergies. So what do? You got to make sure the air you breathe is healthy because we're running in and out, right? And that makes it a challenge because you got all the pollen. Hopefully some of the rain will knock some of it down, but otherwise we're all struggling with the same kind of things when we leave our homes. Now, in my house, I don't worry about it as much because I work with central heating and air conditioning. They can probably fix what ails your house as far as the health goes, and possibly your family as far as the health goes. With home ventilation, air quality products, Carrier has packages Central has packages around house health using variable speeds, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and all those sorts of things. So if you want to get that in order, if you want to get your home's health in order and your family's health in order, then call on Central Heating and Air Conditioning. They've been servicing Atlanta since 1947, I think, like 77 years. Locally owned and operated, Chuck and his team will take care of you. Of course, they can do maintenance agreements if you want to maintain the systems that you have in your house, your HVAC systems, or if it's time to get a new one, get the best in the business. Carrier working with the best in the business, and that is Central Heating and Air Conditioning. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hey there, Atlanta sports fans. Home team Brandon Leak here with Sonder Health Plans. I've been singing praises about their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans, and now they're stepping up their game with new health plans that include home safety and accessibility modifications. Call them up right now and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here, and with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is to protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
My name is Pamela Conley. I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 22 years. It's been the best years of my life, and not everyone can say that about their jobs. I'm the intake specialist for new clients, so I am the voice you hear when you call our office and the first face you see when you come by. I love sharing my years of experience with people and alongside Bruce, helping them through what is so often a really hard time. My name is Pamela Conley, and I work for Bruce Hagen. Let him work for you. Hagen-law.com.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. With daily commentary you'll hear throughout the day. And he's on live with the Morning Extra every Tuesday morning at 7:30. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3. And catch all of Neil's commentary on the Extra app.
Chuck, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Thank you for being up early with us on this Tuesday morning. 6:44. I say the time not because you can't look at your phone or the probably the digital clock in front of you. It's just a bad habit. It's 6:44. It's one of those radio bad habits. And I don't think I've done it in years and years. That's the first time I've said the time on the air in, I don't know, as long as I can remember.
It's old school radio.
It is
25 years ago.
It totally is.
Back in the era of the Arbitron diary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your deal was everyone said the time because the idea was somebody, when they would get an Arbitron diary, would write down the time and what they were listening to.
It was like a trick.
And so you would get credit. So everybody always said the time. Okay, we don't have to do that anymore, but it's just a habit.
It is. That's the first time I've probably done it, I'm telling you, in 15 years. At least 15 years. That's the first time I've said the time. I don't think I've ever done it on this show before, ever, until right now. It's like, I don't know that that's a good thing. I'm trying to keep, I don't want to start that habit.
Don't start that habit. It makes it a lot harder for me to edit the best of, too.
That's exactly right.
True, you timestamped
it. I know, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There goes that.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't going to be a best of segment anyway.
No, probably not at all. There's no best of.
644. Quack, quack.
We're admitting our fault.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No question.
I used to love that on the Imus show. Every time he said it, they just play the quack, quack.
Who said the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Oh, yeah. That's every time Imus said this time, they'd
quack,
go with the quack, quack.
We need to have us
Did
like
he
a bell
always dress like Woody from Toy Story?
No. That started later.
When he lost his mind?
Yes.
And got the ranch.
Well, he got the ranch for children with cancer, and it was a really...
Don't try and make me feel bad. He looked like Woody from Toy Story.
I'm about to make you feel
bad.
bad.
You spit up that water.
Almost.
Well, he did it for children with cancer.
Yeah.
He looked like Woody from Toy Story.
Well, he wanted
while
them
doing
to...
good things.
Yeah, while, he thought, hey, I have a ranch, the kids can come out, they're dying of cancer, Carlos, and they want to ride a horse. So he put on a cowboy hat and made sure they felt welcome.
You can't,
but that's okay.
you can't get into my feelings. You just can't. Sorry, I'm a cold, hard bitch.
When we started 790 The Zone, that was our morning show, was the Imus morning show. So we ran that before.
You said on 790?
Over on 790 The Zone. So we ran the Imus, and we had Imus come down to Atlanta and do his show live from the Fox Theater. And during that time, Imus sent me down in front of Ted Turner's CNN because Ted Turner was supposed to give Imus money for the ranch to help the kids with cancer. And he kind of reneged on it and never sent the money. So Imus put a sandwich board on me, which I still have, and it's autographed by all the guys from Imus, and made me stand out in front of there asking where the money was, which was kind of fun. And it was just, he was such a great guy. I loved Imus. I love the fact that he was a Republican. He did get involved in a lot of political talk, but he made it fun, and it was a lot of fun doing that show for a long time.
Danny was dressed like Woody from Toy Story.
And he really did. It got bad at the end, really bad at the end. All of a sudden, he started wearing cowboy boots, but tucked his jeans in like Woody did, and then he wore that ridiculous cowboy hat.
I love it.
And he started melting, like his face melted.
Oh, did he have a lot of plastic surgery or something?
No, it's just like droopy.
Oh,
yeah, just good old
gravity.
and droopy.
Just gravity happened.
Yeah.
It does. It happens.
May
like
rest
that.
in peace.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. There we go. If you want the real story, you either get a sandwich board and go in front of CNN Center, or you go to the barbershop, Lowe's.
Telling you, if you want to actually know what's going on in society, there's certain places you go to, and one of them, when you talk about the African American community, the Black community, you go to the barbershop. Because the barbershop is a fun place. The barbershop is a place where everybody talks openly, and whatever's being talked about stays in the barbershop.
Okay. It's where it stays in Vegas. That whole thing
very much so.
Came from
I would say
idea.
this. My version of that is good old days. Whatever's being talked about at the bar in the little U-shaped bar, doesn't get out of the bar.
Yeah.
It's what's being talked about. Take a listen to this man that you're going to hear for this piece of audio from, and he is already talking about his views on Joe Biden, what he doesn't like, and how this is where there's a little bit of an awakening happening. Because in 2020, I firmly believe you had a game played, and not only did liberal white guilt kick in, BLM, we got to vote. We got to vote for Joe Biden. But the black community also was like, well, if I'm going to hold on to my black card, I got to vote for Joe Biden. Take a listen.
I didn't like hearing the current president now say that, if you're not black if you don't vote Democrat. I thought that was a load of BS. I thought that was an insult.
Yeah. That man is sitting in the chair, and he's getting taken care of when it comes to his head. And he's like, yeah, that's a load of BS, which in 2020, I'm telling you, he wouldn't have said that.
No, it would have worked in 2020, and it did work in 2020. And Jim Clyburn worked in 2020 for that community and really delivered. But I think people started to hear the truth from the Democrats' mouths. And I think in New York, you're hearing that a lot right now in barbershops after Kathy Hochul and what she said. We heard Janet Yellen earlier this year talking about, well, the need for abortion clinics is that black people will never get out of poverty.
That's what she said.
She said
we
it word
played the
for
audio.
word. It's not something that I'm paraphrasing. That's what she said. We played it. Yes, this is what these groups are starting to hear. Hold on one second. You sat here, you pandered to us. You said you needed us to vote. You said you were doing these kind of things for our communities, but yet you haven't. We voted for you and you haven't come through. Instead, you're taking care of people who are here illegally coming across the border, and they're not just Hispanics. I know they want to go, oh, now you're just attacking brown people. No, I'm talking about people coming across the border. If you're just saying it's brown people, you're the racist, because we got people from all over the world coming across the border that are being taken care of better than our own American citizens.
I just want to know what people actually think. You know what I mean? So where do you go? You have to go to somewhere where people actually are.
Yeah.
And I think just in community with people, you learn more than anything you'll learn on the news at night, anything you'll learn in polling. Because, the people around you are, your community, that's who's going to tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, I can tell you which of I say it all the time, we have about 10 friends, including my wife and I, that we spend a lot of time together. It's just all of our kids have been buds since they were 8 years old or 6 years old or whatever. And I can almost tell you with almost 100% certainty who's going to vote which way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 of them. One might vote for Biden. One. Probably not, but there's 3 that will go third party and they just don't like Trump for whatever reason. And I know that about them because I spend time with them, and it's almost like a reflection of what Los is saying with the barbershop. Where you are is where you find the information. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm being clear enough about that. I just think your community tells you.
There's a level of comfort within your community wherever it's at.
You're just free to talk.
And again, it might
be yourself.
It might be the neighborhood bar. It might be the barbershop. It might be your church group, whatever it is, where, okay, we're going to be able to tell it the way it really is in here.
We don't have to. We don't have, because my heart. I can say what I really think and not feel judged. This is what I think.
Yeah, the barbershop just happens to be that go-to place where you get everything off of your chest. But I think once you get outside work, whether it is, if we went over to Goldberg's, we'd probably talk a lot differently about, what was going on in our lives, or we would come together. I know with my friend John Kincaid, Carlos, myself, and John, we'd separate ourselves. We'd have our conversations in that point. This is something that people tend to do, and they tend to tell the truth. They might not tell the truth at work, but when they get to the barbershop, they're going to tell you the truth. And you're starting to see it a lot on social media as well. The more I watch on social media, the more people are coming out going, hold on, now I have to talk. Now I have to tell you, because it's out here that we all love Joe Biden. But the fact of the matter is this: Joe Biden, the Democrats, they know they're losing that group that they covet and that they need so much. That look what they're doing. They're aligning with Raphael Warnock. Warnock is being brought into that. They're aligning with Morehouse and saying, hey, can we do the commencement speech? We'll send the president there. Look at all the things they're doing, because they know they've lost that group.
See, if I was to head to the neighborhood bar, and you almost talked me into it on Friday.
I'm telling you, all I got was
I was like, listen, I had stuff to do around the house. I was knocking out some stuff. And so, but in my mind, I'm like, if we go over there and we start any political discussion, it's free and easy.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's going to say what because they've had a couple libations.
Yeah.
Now they're going to give you their thoughts on what's going on. It's nice when you find areas where communities are free and easy, and it's a no judgment zone.
No, absolutely.
It's like anybody can view it the way they want to. But I'm just glad that somebody who would go on television at a barbershop would flat out tell you, yeah, this was BS.
Yeah, this is what I didn't like.
Yeah. I'm like, thank you.
Say it freely. And look, I just happen to agree with him. Maybe if there's the next guy that speaks like, I hate Trump or I hate Republicans, or
I'd be like, good for you.
Yeah,
good.
Right.
You're fine.
At least I know. At least I know.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to play favorites with anyone. I mean, I want to hear what people think about these candidates right now. I want to hear where they're either misguided or they're right on. I mean, some of them are spot on, even with Donald Trump. I understand when people say, I'm tired of the games that he plays when he's speaking. When he gets off of what the issues are, it's too much for me. And I understand that from a lot of people. Now, me, I find humor. I have a dark sense of humor. I find it funny when he attacks people. I find it funny when he uses bad words because he's just like the rest of us. As soon as we get off the air, there are bad words that fly sometimes. I mean, that's just life, and I get used to it. I don't sit there and go, oh, gosh, Tug said a bad word. I'll never have to be able to support him ever again.
I need to go wash out my own mouth.
Seriously, man, if I could quit. Those are my.
I gotta go clean my ears.
But I love the openness. I love when people like get comfortable and talk about the truth that they feel.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Those are my two Achilles heels. Drinking too much and cussing too much.
Boy, you put those two together, he's a mess.
But I sound like a sailor or something.
I've been at sea before.
Yes, I have. Several times, matter of fact. When we come back on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, there's some fresh polling out CNN is struggling with. They're struggling to understand the loss of the young vote. It's the economy, stupid. Next on the Morning Extra. Doug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Get the app. Best way to listen so you can listen live and on demand.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
The big news is the judge actually threatened him again to throw him in jail.
He would be the king of Rikers.
Oh, God. Hey, boys, how you doing? How are you? Hey, USA. You can imagine the clanking of the tin cans on the bars. It's, oh, my God.
Dirty screw.
And I know they flat foot.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Well, Sally, thank you for your time. But unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
But why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and we saw some red flags.
Like what?
Apparently, you were accused of dog-napping a chihuahua named Mr. Cha-Cha.
Mr. Cha-Cha was my soulmate.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. It turns out that there is no such thing as small potatoes in politics. Every politician has their bread and butter issues. So does Maine Senator Susan Collins, only it's her meat and potato issues, and that involves the potato itself. Who knew that whether or not the government classified potatoes as a vegetable and not a grain was a hot potato issue? No couch potato as a legislator, it was Collins who led the way, along with her potato bud, Colorado Democrat Michael Bennet, to oppose reclassification of potatoes as a grain instead of a vegetable.
potato. Collins says Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack called her personally to announce the potatoes were in fact a vegetable. In 2001, the Department of Agriculture proposed a rule which would have banned white potatoes from the national school breakfast and limited its use in the lunch programs. So since the Agriculture Department didn't mash potatoes on its food guidelines, it's all gravy from here.
1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 4, 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potatoes more.
With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
It's the former president versus his former lawyer. Again, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Michael Cohen will return to the witness stand for a second day of testimony at the first Trump criminal trial.
Tying former President Trump directly into the alleged illegal scheme to falsify business records and hide his affair with Stormy Daniels. Cohen, of course, the longtime former lawyer, loyal fixer. Well, he turned on President Trump, implicating him in that scheme to pay Stormy and do it, he said, to protect the president's presidential election campaign.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court in New York, where Cohen could face intense cross-examination from a Trump defense team that may press Cohen on being a convicted felon, an admitted liar, and the former president insists
they have not come close to proving fraud or that any fraud has taken place.
Just a few blocks away in federal court, jury selection continues to put Senator Bob Menendez, a New Jersey Democrat, on trial.
Menendez is charged with accepting bribes, fraud, conspiring to act as a foreign agent, and conspiracy to commit extortion. He's accused of giving the Egyptian government non-public information about U.S. aid to the country, as well as our embassy in Cairo. He's also accused of complimenting the Qatari government and getting gold bars and a car out of it.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Kyiv as more U.S. military aid arrives to help Ukraine battle Russia's invasion.
A strong, successful, thriving, free Ukraine is the best possible rebuke to Putin.
And this as Russian leader Vladimir Putin's forces take control of more areas in Ukraine's Kharkiv region. Putin will go to China for talks with leader Xi Jinping later this week as the U.S. puts new tariffs on China.
They've played by a different set of rules, and this is what we know to be clear, and it has been unfair and anti-competitive economic practices.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, these tariffs target Chinese electric vehicles, batteries, solar cells, steel, aluminum, and medical equipment. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
You're right, and so are we. Welcome to Xtra 1063.
Tug Rhino and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. Coming up in about, 22 minutes. Legendary voice of Neil Bortz, the talk master. The only place you can hear Neil is here on Xtra 1063. You get his daily commentary through the day. And then on Tuesdays, he checks in with us at 7:25. So that's what you got in store here in just a little bit. I was looking at this article, and it's from Fortune magazine, and it's about dating apps. And none of us need it. Los is married. I'm married. Rhino has a steady...
I got my hands full.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Rhino's dating a sweet Aaron and has been for a while. So none of us need that.
No.
I'm on the apps.
That's where I was
we're
going
about
with
to torture
this.
you with
That's
this.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm interested.
Dating app. A dating app says it could possibly be the AI dating concierge. It's essentially an avatar for you. Because every like Snapchat has the little avatar, right? But the thing is, the avatar would go on dates with other people's avatars, eliminating the need for you to go on a date with another person, and then the avatars decide if you're actually a fit for each other. So it's almost like an arranged marriage date kind of thing.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
like, this sounds horrible.
It does too, because it I don't know. It eliminates the need to even date. Your dating profile avatar would just date for you.
Because what can happen is Joe will get a phone call one day and be like, do you want to know what your avatar said of my avatar? You're disgusting. You are a pig. Your avatar is a pig.
How could you, sir?
What do they fill in that information with? How do they know?
It's just...
you probably have to fill out something, I'd assume.
You fill out your profile. The dating apps already use data and algorithms that help find your match. But they're saying, Fortune Magazine says, it's unclear how these virtual AI dates would enhance the process. Maybe there would be virtual conversations. Maybe the AI could make determinations based on how the other person's avatar answers yours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
your avatar was picking its nose the entire time we were eating fake dinner.
But, like, how can you how could you eventually rely on something like that? You would never actually meet the person until the avatar says, yep, you're dating now.
How can you simulate something as complex as a person?
That's exactly right, dude. But that's what they're trying to do.
They're trying to find likeness. Like, okay, so I like paddleboarding. So does Avatar C.
That's right.
And I guess that's what it is. But there's got to be a natural attraction. Go to the barber shop where things are real. Go to the bar. Go to, I don't know, Whole Foods. Well, be careful about Whole Foods in Chamblee. But go to Whole Foods or a restaurant or a Home Depot. Like, meet people the normal way. Are you serious with this avatar? This is dumb.
But do you realize how many data points you would have to put in about yourself, how willing you have to be to share so many of your proclivities out there in order to be able to match with somebody where the AI would be comfortable saying, yeah, well, you're into this person's, and we simulated, and this makes a lot of sense for you.
I mean, I think we should do this just to test it out with Kimmer. Get an AI Kimmer out there, an avatar of Kimmer, and hopefully some, nice older ladies that they could hook up. And Joe, we'll do it both and see what happens.
But do you realize how hard it is to, like, if you're in Kimmer's case, to, like, admit, like, on a random Wednesday, I get rip-roaring drunk and I shoot the Desert Eagle in the air.
Yeah.
That's right.
Naked.
In the middle of...
Okay.
Like, you have to admit these sort of things in order to find this sort of person. Admitting to your own issues, admitting to your own stuff is about creating that whole person.
Yeah.
I've only forgotten my underwear 3 times when I left the house.
And I've only pooped myself twice this week.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be really, really comfortable.
But I can drive at night.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
What about I have these are my teeth. These are still mine.
If we get stuck past 6:30, I could take us home.
I mean, God forbid Tug ever found himself single ever again, but having to fill out, I really like bourbon to the point where I want fries.
Yeah.
For fries.
But you have to admit these sort of things for the whole person to be represented.
Yeah, like that's an extreme, but it does exist. So, like, how far do you go?
Right.
Like, do I just say I like bourbon and French fries? Or sometimes I'll go to concerts, maybe once a year, and get blasted. And want French fries afterwards.
I would like that.
I mean, like, how
do I fill out? I work out to drink vodka. Just want to let you know this is the reason why.
That's exactly.
I live in my parents' basement, Joe.
Right. Like, and what do you do in that basement? 'Cause I'm afraid to ask, but they would need to know if you're going to date them. They would kind of need to know this about
I would
you.
like to take you to my parents' basement. That's not a good opening line, Joe.
Well, but for the avatar,
worked well lately.
That's right. I bet the avatar wouldn't think anything of it because they don't have reason.
But the avatar would filter through. They'd find me a girl that would say,
that's no big
I'm
deal.
willing to deal with a
She
guy
lives
that
in the
his
basement.
She's okay going to said date in basement of somebody's home.
She'll just be a homeless crack addict that's looking for a place to stay, but that's okay.
I'm telling you, we're over or underestimating Gen Z in this regard. The idea of like, hey, I'm in the basement with my parents. There's a large amount of Gen Z that goes, well, that's smart.
Me too.
Yeah.
You say
there's a large amount of us that are just like, me too.
Yeah. There's a large amount that are like, how big's the basement? Like, that's cool.
Yeah, do you need a roommate?
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
2 bedrooms?
Can they hear upstairs?
Yeah. Can they hear? Yeah.
Got a new bar installed.
Jeez, man. Tug's about to move in.
Seriously, man. I guess according to Fortune magazine, none of this concierge stuff is in the works right now, but they're talking about how this could be the future of dating sooner rather than later. Joey.
Boy, we're getting lazy.
I'm telling you, so lazy that you won't actually spend time with the person that you want to date.
We should be using this stuff for good. And if good means that you're streamlining my dating process, better. Okay. But is it really streamlining my dating process?
Yeah, it made you.
I mean, it does take the work out of having to go out, having to talk to people, but that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, because it is a hard thing to talk to a girl. Liam has started this 14 thing. He's ready.
He's be fine.
And he started talking to this young lady and really enjoys talking to her.
That's awesome.
And he doesn't know where to go with it, but that's the hard part is talking. If your avatar's doing
that's the human experience, though.
The avatar doing all the talking for you, when you get there, are you going to be as exciting as your avatar?
It's not going to be.
And can you watch these dates to make sure your avatar behaves himself?
A great question, man. Things we don't have answers to at this point.
Hold on, that's not what I would say. That avatar is going off base. No.
But if I was Joe, and if I was putting in my own sort of parameters of here's what's all about me, and then what are you into?
Muscular.
If I could
5'11".
If I could eliminate so many options out there by being like, here's the filter, hot and curvy.
That's right.
Yeah.
The rest of you needs not apply.
That's right.
That's kind of cool. Let's get rid of 80%, which I'm not going to be into.
I mean, it's not much different than Bumble or Humble or Hinge and all those other apps, Tinder and all of those anyway. I mean, it is a pretty interesting way. And, Carlos really brought to my attention the other day, because I listened to the replay over the weekend and I was like, Carlos is right. We are, the kids probably think we're stupid for all the things and we're
all conditioned in our one way.
This is a new way for these kids to kind of get involved some way or another. And it may work. I mean, sometimes computers do a lot of good number crunching and figure out, this works and this doesn't, so maybe it will help. It's interesting to find out how they go bad or how they go good.
See, I'm going to take the opposite tact. I think it takes work.
I do too.
Just like every relationship takes work. So if you're relying on a computer to do the work for you, it's going to fail.
But this is a discussion point 20 years ago that would not be something we would have. Now, as Joe tells you, hey, I'm on all the apps. That's nothing. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But even 50 years ago, think about when you met someone at church or you met someone at the market, you met someone somewhere else, and these people come in and go, hey, I'm a love doctor. Come to my office. We're going to put everything in a computer. We're going to find a match for you, and then we'll send you out on a date. This is the next evolution in that. So, maybe we are cavemen. Maybe this is the new way because these kids are working hard because they got to work 3 jobs in Biden economy. So maybe this is the way that they can go out on dates and still be able to work and make all that money so that they can actually live.
Joe, there used to be what they called matchmaking services.
Yeah.
Which you would actually pay a firm and they would introduce you to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that.
How old does that sound?
Right. Terribly old. But Joe just said he would do it, so somebody needs to rekindle that idea.
It sounds better than Bumble or Hinge.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because it's like actual... it's somebody putting it together, and it's not a robot.
A matchmaker.
Yeah.
Matchmaker.
Wasn't that the website, matchmaker.com or something?
So the airline one that was always pushed in every single Delta airline magazine was, it's just lunch.
It's just lunch.
Right. They're just going to get together for lunch. And you're like, with other accomplished individuals.
At the motel.
or at the motel. Yes, maybe you're doing it.
And everybody went right past the whole all right. It's just lunch, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we'll see how that shakes out. Yeah, man. Fortune Magazine is where you can find the articles.
Jews have been matchmakers forever, which is part of that song that he was just singing. And that is something that, my mom, everybody, that's a big Jewish thing.
Matchmaking.
We call them yentas. Yentas are people who talk too much about their kids and they just continue to tell everybody your business. And you're like, Ma, you're being a yenta. Shut up.
Stop.
But that's Ma. Have you met Sandra? Because she's a yoga. She's a good Jewish girl. Ma. Stop. I don't need this.
Awesome. That sounds like something out of a TV show.
Yes.
It really
does. My mom
does.
has done that so many times.
That's funny, man. All right.
Don't go no near redheads. They're horrible for you.
They're horrible.
What color is Aaron's hair? Red.
Whoops. It seems like...
They light your clothes on fire.
They light your clothes on fire, throw everything out. They're crazy, the redheads.
But not everyone. Let's say 99%. You found the diamond in the rough.
I did. I'm lucky.
Until she lights your clothes on fire.
Then you'll realize
Mom was right.
Yeah,
Mom wasn't kidding.
Dude, you have the website up.
I've got it right here. It's just lunch. It still exists.
Let's sign Joe up and be like,
let's do it.
Hey, ladies, you're buying.
That's right. Or we can all throw $10 in.
This is Dutch, except it's your treat.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, there you go. That's just
do they do that now, kids? Like, do they make girls like pay half? Because I see a lot of these videos. Like, girls are really offended that like a guy would be like, "No, you're going to pay yours. I'm going to pay mine."
It's a game now.
It is.
Like
so the girl will always get out her wallet and like test the guy, and the guy's like, "No, I got it."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, are you sure? I'll pay for mine." And then you have to go as a man, no, because it's a test.
You're like, well, I don't want to take away your feminism, so go ahead and pay for it.
What does that ever backfire when you say no? And a girl like she genuinely she doesn't want to.
Not that I know
be a part of the
that has happened, but it could have.
It's so rare.
I pay for it.
Yeah, it's so rare.
That's who I am.
I'm sure
because I think Tug held a door for a woman one time, and she got really upset at Tug.
She was like, "I don't need you to hold the door." That's why I know you don't need me to. Like, I'm just doing it to be polite. Like, it's nice to have someone to do it for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, but well, we'll get Joe signed up for something. Either just for lunch or one of these apps, or we'll figure this thing out and
free membership.
Grinder.
Some accomplished young woman is out there spending like $1,000 a month to meet like eligible nice guys. And then we found an endorsement deal for Joe.
We sent
doesn't pay anything.
Wearing an extra T-shirt to every date.
Yeah.
She's like, I hear you're an accomplished young man. Like, yes, I am.
As a matter of fact.
And I'm not paying for this date.
I work for the Braves Radio Network, and I'm not paying.
What do you think of that? Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. We'll see how this shakes out if we even ever pick this back up. But I think we should, man. I think we should sign him up for a month. This is going to be funny. It's going to absolutely be funny. New polling data out. CNN is really, really struggling with because things look real bad for Joe Biden, specifically in the swing states and the actual voters, the makeup of the voters. You'll hear him talk about it here.
Look, these Sun Belt battleground states, frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster. The smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this, 9 in Georgia, 13 in Nevada. My goodness gracious, my God. That is a huge lead. No Democrat has lost that state since John Kerry lost it back in 2004. Back in 2020, 84% of the Trump campaigns, the Trump coalition was white. Look where it is now. It's 78%. The non-white portion of the Trump coalition, it was 13% in 2020. Look at this now. It's 19%. So the Trump coalition is becoming more diverse. And, of course, those Sun Belt battleground states are more diverse than the Great Lake battleground states.
You're looking at the Nevadas and the Arizonas here.
Of course. If you look at Nevada, Arizona, heavy Hispanic population, Georgia, heavily African-American population. Michigan does have some black voters in it, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are heavily, heavily white.
It's very interesting. Okay, add it all up. What does this say about where the race stands right now?
It's advantage Donald Trump.
Now, he would go on to say, now there's a way for Joe Biden. Like, he would be like, if this happens and that happens and there's enough rain, then it'll all work out and Joe will coast in. But you could just hear my goodness gracious, my God.
Without cheating, we can't win. We're going to have to go ahead and put in as many mail-in ballots as we can. Absentee ballot.
It's almost a bat signal for that.
We've talked about this for almost 2 years about what's going to happen now because of the way they've alienated certain communities, and they keep playing and pandering to each community. Then when they lose that, they go to the next one, and this is where they're having a problem. They are losing their mind because, again, I brought it up. I said all he needs is 3% of the black vote. Look where he's at. 78% is white. The rest of it is, a little bit diverse. That's a huge number. I mean, you're talking about 13%. That's big time.
Believe the data if you want. Now, we've been leaning this way, believing this is how this is going to play out. We've talked about what's going on with Gen Z and the struggles they have within this economy, and we'll get into that in a little more detail in a bit. But when you just look at the issue, they are not associating Donald Trump with being old. They are with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And there's not a large differentiation in age. It's just energy. And so if you were to go on Twitter and search like Gen Z and Trump, the amount of things you'll see, including Sleepy F and effing Mongoloid. Okay, those are the ways they're describing Joe Biden.
Oh, wow.
But remember, Donald Trump is not much younger, but the energy, they don't associate old with Donald Trump the way they do with Joe Biden.
And that'll have to continue because it's not like Joe Biden's going to get more spry all of a sudden.
Not happening.
And Donald Trump is not going to slow down. So those perceptions aren't changing. And the Democrats are definitely thinking,
my goodness gracious, my God.
my goodness gracious,
my God.
My God, look at these numbers. I'm so surprised. What are you surprised about? This is how out of touch these people are at CNN, at MSNBC, at Fox News, everywhere else. They don't understand that Americans are looking in their wallets, in their pocketbooks, at their groceries, at how much gas costs every single day just to go to a job that they tell us wages are up. No, they're not. They're not meeting with the inflated numbers that we're seeing every day. That's where the big problem is for the Democrats and for these talking heads. They're just out of touch with what people need.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. We've got the legendary voice of Neil Bortz joining us next. Love to get his take on Kick Down the Effing Door. Love to get his take on My Goodness Gracious, My God. The audio we just heard and how everything seems to be trending. If you look at the data, Trump's way, how he feels about it, and his perception of everything that's happening. Because he's one, those you pointed out how spry that Trump is and how just old and slow that Joe Biden is. We know the talk master's more like Trump, man. This dude's traveling the world. He's on the Bortz bus. He's going on cruises. He's living the life that we all want to live someday in retirement. Neil Bortz is next on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Iran University is now offering scholarships to all U.S. students who are expelled over campus protests against Israel. What a wonderful idea. I would love to see the American students protesting against Israel take them up on this offer. A little word of warning, though. If you're gay, you're likely to be thrown off the top of one of the school buildings. Fine with me. Make it a pay-per-view event.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
How do you choose the right company, the right contractor to do the work on your home? It is so important that you do. The exterior of your home is the first thing people see. And aside from curb appeal, the exterior of your home protects you and your family from the elements and affects your home's utility and maintenance costs, whether you're finishing the exterior of a new construction or you're upgrading whatever it is that needs to be done to your home. Maybe it's new windows. Maybe it's a new roof. Maybe it's new siding. Maybe it's new gutters, or maybe it's just repairs to those things. You want to choose the right company for the job. Some things you have to look for. Reputation, expertise, licensing, certificates, quality of materials, communication between that company. And if you want all those things, let me recommend Southern Exteriors. Hey, it's Tug. SouthernExteriors.co is the website. SouthernExteriors.co, 8779 They're based down in Jackson, Georgia, and they've been servicing Atlanta and the Southeast because they're that big a company. They're in a small town, but they're a big company, and they can handle so many jobs at one time because they have the ability. They have the space. They have that big, what I call the Pentagon down in Jackson, Georgia. They don't have to wait on supplies because they have them, and you ain't going to have to wait on them. They can be ready whenever you are to make your home look the exact way you want it to look the perfect way that you've envisioned. So give them a call today, 8779 Southern, 8779 Southern or Southern Exteriors CO. Choose the right company. Choose Southern Exteriors.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPsetc.com.
Stop dreaming. Start driving. Get the gift that keeps on giving with the RBM of Atlanta's Certified Pre-Owned Sales Event. Each of our certified pre-owned vehicles undergoes an exhaustive process of analysis, inspection, and reconditioning until it meets the uncompromising standards of RBM of Atlanta and Mercedes-Benz. For a limited time, get special financing from as low as 2.99% APR. In addition, you'll receive unlimited confidence with Mercedes-Benz's unlimited mileage warranty, delivering continued assurance for up to 7 years. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details and see how to qualify. We'd love to welcome you to the RBM of Atlanta family. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Not all offers apply to all vehicles, and special financing available to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services through May 31st, 2024. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call 770-390-0700 for details.
If the left made any sense, they would be right. Listen to Extra 106.3.
Neil Bortz is the talk master. He has made it back home, and he joins us on Extra 106.3 in the Morning Xtra. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. What's up, Neil? How are you?
Made it back home for 3 days. I'm on the road again Thursday morning.
See, you are living life the way it's supposed to be lived, sir.
This time, when we walk out of the condo, the movers walk in, though. Oh, God.
Are you moving? Are you selling your condo?
Well, the remodeling.
Ah, got it.
You know, I still haven't cleaned the pants I was wearing when I asked the builder, what do you want us to get out of the condo? And he said, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't cleaned those pants up.
How long's the project? How long's it going to take?
We'll be back in the condo maybe in October.
Wow. Okay.
Well, we have to be in October because condo rules, all construction has to stop at the end of October. So, yeah, then.
Where are you staying in the meantime?
In the Bortz bus.
I mean, the whole time you're just going to be, okay. I mean, I was sure. Well, I'm okay, yeah. I don't mean to insult you like that. I mean, my apology. Goodness gracious, from now to October seemed like a long time to live on the bus.
It's a beautiful bus. I mean, it's not just a bus.
We do it every summer anyway. So
yeah, may as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, point well taken.
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Canada.
So are you going to just do a lot of traveling while all this is happening and you're on the bus anyway?
Yeah, but one change, we might have fewer stops and longer stays, if you know, like in Breckenridge, Colorado, and West Yellowstone, and all that.
Must be nice,
man. That sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, that's what life is about: working hard, getting to that point where you can enjoy life.
It's so fun. You want to come fill that sucker up one time?
No, I don't want to pay for anything.
I couldn't afford it, but
he wants to live underneath it.
Yes, I've already talked about this. I will carry your luggage, Mr. Bortz.
And clean out those britches.
Yes, and I'll pump the toilets when we stop. You know.
Boy, I love my commentary this morning. You'll hear it.
We're going to hear it in a bit.
In about 25 minutes,
Yeah.
Which conservative did you bash this time?
No, I didn't. No, parents. I went after parents this time.
Oh, good. Tell us about it.
Well,
I mean, after the experience last week with the well over 1,000 kids on that cruise ship, now even my wife is calling them rat bastards.
Wow.
That's strong. That's strong language this morning, Neil.
You have no idea.
They must have been really mad if the Queen had to throw that out there.
Yeah, and she doesn't talk that way. And I did tell you, I think I told you at some point, the tattoos. My God. And the lady with the tattoos of snakes coming out of her tight shorts.
Okay.
Yeah, no thank you.
Well, I'm not really saying whether they were coming out or heading in.
Yeah,
it's just vulgar. God almighty. Why do people do that?
I have no
clue.
And
then there was a YouTube video last week of some young woman. She had both nostrils pierced. She had the eyebrow thing. She had her lips pierced. She had tattoos on her face. And she was asking, they were complaining about being discriminated against when she applied for a job.
Yeah, like we're hiring you to make good decisions on behalf of our company, and you're not making good decisions on behalf of you. So how could I? Trust you?
If you qualified and we had a position where our customers never saw you,
sure,
we would consider that. But here's one thing: apparently, some people out there are using social media and everything they can find to compile a database of all of these college mindless useful idiots that are protesting in favor of Hamas. They're building a database of them so that it'll be available to future employers to see if this person they're interviewing was one of those fools. And so now some of these protesters, some of these kids are asking for federal laws that make a database like that illegal. And by the way, they want complete amnesty for everything that they did. And they want passing grades for all of the classes they missed while they were protesting. They want everything purged, and they're entitled to it. It's their right, don't you know?
Isn't it funny how they talk about privileged people and entitlement and everybody else, and it's all them that want this? And I don't know. I continue to go back to figure out where we went wrong with kids, and I think it's the participation trophy, Neil. It's the, hey, everybody should win. We shouldn't have one champion of a football league, a baseball league, a softball league. Everybody should get a trophy at the end so everybody feels good. And I feel like that's where we've gone with our kids lately, where they can't do any wrong, and you know what? If your feelings are hurt, if you don't like the consequences, it's okay. But these are consequences, and people need to grow up and learn them.
When that started, didn't you know where it was going to go? Mm-hmm. Didn't you, just intuitively understand where this participation trophy nonsense was going to go? Here's a story. I never come up with the story that you guys already haven't beaten to death. But here's one. The janitors at that building up there, custodians, at that building on the Columbia campus where the Hamilton Hall, I think they called it, where the protesters broke doors, windows broke in. There were some janitors in there that wanted to get out and go home to their families, and the students wouldn't let them leave. That's kidnapping. Now the union that represents the janitor is identifying the students that were arrested. There is a record, and they're filing lawsuits against those students for kidnapping and illegal restraint. Good. And so here comes the hammer of the law on those useful idiots. And I love that. I love that.
But there is no hammering of the law. These kids get out within 24 hours and are back on campus even before 24 hours. They get out.
Yeah, but these aren't criminal. These aren't criminal charges. These are civil lawsuits.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. I mean, that's what finally got that murdering SOB O.J. Simpson. It was a civil lawsuit that nailed him, not the criminal charges. By the way, speaking of murdering, this has been bothering me for a long time. I want to ask you guys how you handle this, or if you handle it, or if you even care to. And in some papers now, in some newspapers, including some down around this area, when a black thug commits a crime, murders somebody, shoots, road rage, whatever it is, the newspapers or the news outlets will not identify them as black.
True.
Instead, they use this descriptive phrase, a dark complexion. I mean, can you... The assailant was described as having a dark complexion.
Well, even if you get that, Neil, I mean, that half the time it's the assailant, and that's it. There's very little description, even though the police might have a description, the victims might have a description, but the description never makes it into the mainstream media.
Okay, so here's what's bothering me. This is the 8-ton gorilla in the room. This is a discussion we have to have. We need to have. I mean, look what's happening on the streets of New York. Everywhere in this country regards to crime. The black population of this country is, let's say, 13%, maybe 13.5%. Let's use simple math and say half of those are men. So we're down to about 6.75%. 6.75% of them are men. Among those, we have children below the age of 10, and we have the elderly, let's say over the age of 40. Take them out of the equation, and you have the young black men from the teen years up till about late 30s who are committing the crimes. I have not researched this since I retired because I am a devotee of that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Flip. But back when I was on the air, I can tell you that the number one killer, the number one cause of death for young black men was, what was it, guys?
Other young black men. Yeah.
It was young black men, the number one cause of death. They are maybe 4% of our population. They commit over half of the murders, well over half of the murders. Why aren't we having a discussion about this? Why aren't we, throughout the media, throughout our cultures, why aren't we having a serious discussion about the fact that maybe the most dangerous life form on the streets of America are young black males? Now, we're using it, it's not because they don't reflect a lot of light. It's not because of the way their hair looks. It is because of the culture that they were born into and the culture that they have adopted as their own. You don't, the people that talk about this aren't racists, they're culturalists. Why can't we have that conversation?
Because it's it's brought to racism.
Nobody in the media will bring it up. Hey,
no, they're afraid.
The problem of young black men, nobody will talk about it.
They're afraid, Neil. They're afraid of talking about the truth. They're afraid of saying, hey, we got to get into these communities and say, we got to change the culture. You know, we have to look and say, hey, we got to get guns out of these hands of these gangs. We got to get the gangs out of these communities that are running these communities and bringing these kids into their gangs and making them feel more important than they really should feel when they are joining in this criminal organization. We don't do the work because we're afraid of being called racist. That's why.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not. Are you?
No, not at all.
And there's a great quote from Thomas Sowell. It says, when you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear.
Well, remember Jesse Jackson? Remember the slogan master? Remember the trouble he got into when he mentioned that what really scared him walking down the street was when there were young black men following him?
Yeah.
I mean, he caught hell for that. Absolute hell.
Well,
I was just going to. What were you? Any of you? Let's make you about 12 years old. What did you think your future looked like? What plans did you have for your future?
I was going to be a professional baseball player, and then I ended up in radio.
Yeah.
I was actually really. I wanted to be a play-by-play radio guy for the New York Rangers, or be in radio in general.
Yeah, me too. I made my own radio station in my bedroom with my dual cassette players.
I listened to this old guy named Neil Bortz all the time. I was like, I want to do that.
No, you don't. You're not that old. Anyway, well, I did have a little reel-to-reel tape recorder that I would play with, but I had no intention of a career in radio. I went to high school in Pensacola, Florida, Pensacola Naval Air Station, the head of all medical treatment and medical care for the astronauts, the original astronauts. And so I knew some of them. I knew a lot of the people that worked around them. And my dad was a pilot in 3 world wars. I had bad eyesight, so I couldn't be a pilot. I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. So that's what I studied. And I ended up running my mouth on the radio. Thank goodness. But young black male teenagers, you know what the thought in their mind right now? I mean, it used to be, I want to be an NBA player. That was the number one thing they would say in high school or grade school. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to play in the NBA. Okay, nice. Now, they don't expect, by and large, and especially in urban areas, young black males believe that they will be dead by the age of 30, or dead or in prison by the age of 30 or 35. That's the roadmap they have laid out for themselves.
That's horrible.
Because of the culture that they have been raised in.
Yeah.
And we are afraid to talk about it because that would make us racist. The most useless and overused word in the English language.
No doubt about it. But I don't see anything changing anytime soon. Do you? Because people. If you turn on the news at night and nobody's talking about this, nobody.
We went for Mother's Day lunch to one of the finest restaurants in Naples. That I do not like at all because I'm not a seafood guy.
Okay.
Captain D's.
But we were with dear friends. We went to this restaurant,
Long John Silver,
and they don't enforce a dress code. So, sitting at the table next to us, the guy had to weigh 350 pounds.
Goodness,
wearing a dirty T-shirt and swimming trunks, and he had a dark complexion. I mean, come on, I mean, is that your culture? Is that what you bring to the table on a Mother's Day? At a fancy, I don't get it. I mean, it was sort of like, this is in your face, white people. But anyway, so that's my racist diatribe for the day, and I'm sticking to it.
I still remember having this discussion with a coworker back in 2020, and he looked at me like I had 3 heads when I go, I really think you need to focus on fixing your culture.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, how dare you? I was like, seriously, until you focus on fixing the issues that are going on, this is what's going to continue to go on.
So he thought you had 3 heads instead of the normal allotment.
Yes,
of 2?
He looked at me as I think my entire point to him was, until you start having a situation where within your own culture, within your own family, you start, for instance, when you have any kind of situation with police, be respectful. Mm-hmm. That was like a shock to him for me to say that.
Which seems so clear and obvious. I mean, like, be prepared. I was just talking about getting pulled over recently. I was prepared. Like, everything was out. Like, I had it before the officer even got to my... Here you go. And everything went just fine. I've never had an interaction that didn't turn out just fine. Even if I left with a ticket, it was still just fine because I had everything ready.
It seems easier to believe the Democrats, Neil, like when they tell them that they're not worthy, they're not good enough, that they can't, they don't even know what a computer is, or they can't get an ID, or when they sit and they push them down.
Everything has to be done for them.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why not live that? I mean, if I was told every single day that I was horrible, I would probably feel about myself that I was a horrible person.
Yeah, that's what happened to me at my end of the talk radio career after all these people telling me what a jerk I was.
But there's other people out there. I mean, Dr. Ben Carson. There is Thomas Sowell and his quotes that are so poignant and make so much sense. You got Clarence Thomas to look to. I mean, there's all kinds of people out there saying no. But
they're all those are Uncle Tom.
I know that. Sure. I know that. But that goes to show you that just like the message that's being shared during every other conversation, that those messages are wrong.
But we played some audio from earlier, Neil. Even the barbershops are going, I don't like how you're categorizing me. I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. It's starting to pick up.
Well, I'm hoping it's changing. Okay, one more thing before you kick me off the air.
Okay.
If any of you like cruises and you can stand being around so many kids, somehow you've got to get on this icon of the seas. When Donna and I walked on it 10 days ago, our jaws dropped, and I couldn't draw a good breath for the first hour and a half I was on that ship. It is the most amazing, call it what you will, piece of machinery, whatever, I have ever seen in my life. Absolutely incredible. What do you think it costs to build that thing?
Oh, my gosh.
It's so massive, just taking a look at the pictures.
Like $50 million. I don't know. Something crazy.
Yeah. $2 billion.
$2 billion. Wow. Yeah, I went through because
now take a wag at the daily operating cost.
Okay, then I'm going $50 million.
Yeah, easy.
No, it cost $1 million a day to operate.
Wow. Sure. Feed everybody, house everybody, keep that thing moving. It's huge.
Getting staff on and off the boat. I mean, it's one of those things that I love cruising, and I went and watched videos. I like to watch YouTube videos of people walking around their ships. That ship is amazing.
It has 7 pools.
It's amazing, man. Wow.
I know. Well, we were on it for a full week, and I didn't see all of it.
Wow. Well,
I'm still saying, damn it, Donna, we didn't see this.
Go back.
We didn't see that.
You got till October.
No, the kids. The next time I go back, I'm going to throw a kid overboard.
Now, that would make the news.
Then please go back. Extra 106.3's Neil Bortz throws kid off boat. Yes, please do.
Thankful he was rescued by the Coast Guard.
I'll just claim mental illness like every other crook.
There you go.
No kidding, man. All right, Neil Bortz, thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you again soon.
The Talkmaster says goodbye.
He referred to himself in third person.
I love that.
Kamala Harris has resorted to cussing to try to relate to someone, anyone. And guess what? It failed, as you might imagine. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
I just found out, you know how Disney likes to take old characters and basically make them lesbians or...
Oh, well, they like to change Tinkerbell as an outfit or whatever, yeah.
Doctor Who has always either been a white man or a woman. Disney has taken over, and now they have a guy named Nkuti Gatwa. He is the 15th Doctor Who. He is the first black, not only black, but openly queer.
Oh, God.
Doctor Who.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
You shouldn't need a degree in finance to choose a checking account. That's why we made Truist One Checking. No trade-offs, no compromise, no hassle. Just the stuff you want from a bank that cares. And that means no overdraft fees, lots of practical perks, and automatic upgrades. Truist One Checking. One simple choice. Visit truist.com/one. Truist.com/ONE. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Hey sandwich lovers, today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacey and Shannon, whose love language is food, and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here, and with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is to protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company. Painters you can trust.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House, and now the security riddle of the day. What's less secure than a fake safe from a furniture or big box store? Joe Biden's fake border policy, of course. But hey, there is good news. This time next year, Joe Biden will not be president. So drop right at Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Build a wall around your valuables with a safe from the Safe House. We have certified delivery crews to install your safe. With over 30 years in the safe business, the Safe House is the place to buy safe in Georgia. So go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Have you considered securing your family's future, protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease? Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you're absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit at nelsoneldercarelaw.com.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. So, field day's coming up. Los said his daughters had the field day jitters.
That's right. They're nervous about performing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always a big thing, like in elementary school.
Yes, of course.
You know, a little bit of middle school.
But the thing was, I knew you were kidding when you told me that, but you're just giving your daughters a hard time, and your daughter throws her hands to her side and was like, what?
So my oldest daughter, she's like, we have field day next week. I go, oh, do you have field day jitters? Are you nervous about performing? How are you going to do? And she goes, come on, Dad. The only ones that are strong are the fat kids, and the rest of them are all weak. And I went, wow. That's my daughter.
She's a badass, man.
Like, thank you. That's my daughter.
And she ain't wrong.
She ain't wrong. The only ones that are strong are the fat kids. The rest of them are weak.
Absolutely. Remember that kid from, what was it back in the day when it was Little League World Series? What was the kid? He was kind of a hefty kid, and he kept hitting bombs. Remember? And he would they asked him his name, and he was like, I hit bombs. And then what was that kid's name? And he was a chunky little kid.
He was chubby little boy.
Dude, but he would hit home runs like it was
always
job.
Those chubby kids, though.
Yeah.
And like Little League and Babe Ruth is, I don't know if they still call it Babe Ruth, but that's what I played
I know there is a Babe Ruth League still.
Okay, yeah. And it was always the like chubby kid that would hit the ball a mile.
Big Al. Yes, Big Al was my favorite. Dude, I bet he raked on field day. You know what I mean?
I hit dingers.
That's it. I hit dingers. It wasn't bombs. It was dingers. That's right.
That's right.
Big Al. Dude, and now he's like a high school player and still hitting dingers.
Is he?
Like he's,
Did he get in shape?
He's thinned out.
Now I'm curious.
He thinned out and he's just a big boy playing high school baseball now.
Because Round's in shape too, I guess. That's what I go with. Are you in shape? Yeah, Round.
I am not in shape, so I have no room to talk about anything. But yeah, the kid's looking good and playing high school ball. Did you find the picture?
Yeah, he's thinned out. He now looks like a regular high school
baseball player.
Yeah.
He looks great, man. And still probably hitting dingers. At least that's what I hear. And it's so relatable, you know. You had those kids that played, you know, that were exceptionally good ball players, and Los has got kids that are growing up to play ball and be involved. And Rhino's son is taking karate and doing so well. He's not taking karate. I always call it karate.
Choi Kwando. Yeah.
Is that a type of karate?
Yeah, it's a Korean.
Okay.
It's a South Korean form.
It's not offensive. Is it offensive when I say karate?
No.
When I mess it up? Okay, because I don't mean to mess it up.
I don't think anybody
But
can.
I just think it's cool that he's, like, I just love seeing kids involved, and that's
But
the
it
most
means
important
open
thing.
hand.
Yeah.
Isn't that like that? Like judo chop?
Yes. Foot fist way.
That's right. Do a judo chop in the side of your head.
That sounds funnier when you say it.
Sure does, doesn't it?
That's right. It sounds like the Andy Griffith Show a little bit. But, you know, you got Kamala Harris out there, and she can't relate to anybody. I mean, she just word salads things up. Nothing makes sense. And then she's speaking and decides to drop the F-bomb. And I just assume either she slipped or B, she's trying to relate. She's trying to look cool. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember a VP ever in my life dropping an F-bomb, but she did.
We have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down. Excuse my language.
That cackle. Look, I'm not mad at her for cussing. It just seemed an odd place to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're speaking in front of students, and you need to kick the effing door down. I just don't know. She just does. She's trying to relate, I think, and does everything but that.
Well, I think what her idea is that these kids are rebels, right? I mean, that's what we're seeing. And she wants to be rebellious as well. So this is her way of relating. Yes, this is exactly what that is. I think you nailed it. I have no problem with her cursing. I mean, Donald Trump curses all the time during his rallies. Like, I'm a big boy. Words are words. It is what it is. The problem is that she cannot relate in any other way. Everything else she does is a word salad, and everybody knows that. So she threw it out there, and maybe they'll remember that.
I don't know if you saw during the video, but she turned her hat around backwards and she pulled up her skateboard when she said it.
Yeah, see, because that's what it felt like.
And
Right.
we actually cut it off. She finished it off by saying that, and then she said, "Skateboard man."
Yeah, free Palestine.
So weird.
Make sure that she really kind of hit it home with that group.
Y'all remember this kid?
Hi, my name's Alfred D'Elia. At home, they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Yes,
and I
sir.
hit dingers.
Let me tell you, he thinned out and he never got any bigger.
No, is he still short?
He's 5'8".
Oh, well.
I've got his perfect game profile in front of me. I'm like, he's one of those 12-year-olds that never got bigger.
All right, then. When we come back, Joe Biden's own Federal Reserve Bank confirms it's him. It's his problem.
Sorry to everybody else who's 5'8". At 12 years old, never got bigger.
Morning Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I saw an absolutely 100% perfect cartoon somewhere in Facebook this morning. It depicted a parent-teacher conference. In the first panel, labeled 1969, the teacher behind the desk, the parents, and the student in front of the desk. The student head bowed, looking embarrassed, upset. The parents are holding up the student's report card in front of the student, pointing at it and telling the student, explain these bad grades. Second panel, teacher behind the desk, parents in front of the desk. There's the student looking smug. The parents are holding up the report card in front of the teacher, yelling at the teacher, explain these bad grades. So absolutely, perfectly, 100% true. And meaningful to the Queen and I right now because of our experience on the cruise ship Icon of the Seas last week. Huge ship, 7,000 passengers, maybe 1,500 of them kids. Signs everywhere, no running. Kids running everywhere. Bumping into you, knocking people down, knocking plates out of people's hands at the buffet. In 1969, the parents would be all over these kids. Explain your behavior. Not now. In a conversation with the crew member, I learned that now if any crew member reprimands these kids for running or tells them to get out of the hot tub, it's for 18 and over. the parents will immediately report that crew member as being rude to their kids. So the crew members learn not to say something, and the parents aren't going to do anything about it either. Everybody's kids are absolutely perfect, and how dare you ever correct their behavior or suggest that they've done something wrong. Thank you, Dad, for those switches and belts. I deserved every damn one of them. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
Hey there, Atlanta sports fans. Home team Brandon Leak here with Sonder Health Plans. You know, I've been singing praises about their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans, and now they're stepping up their game with new health plans that include home safety and accessibility modifications. Call them up right now and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Michael Cohen has more to say. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The former Trump lawyer will be on the witness stand a second day at the criminal trial. The former president calls a hoax.
There's no fraud here. There's no crime here.
And House Speaker Mike Johnson will be there today in court showing his support the day after Cohen testified.
Just do it. That's what Michael Cohen says Donald Trump told him to pay off Stormy Daniels to protect his 2016 presidential election.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court in New York.
On the stand, Cohen said Trump told him, quote, "This is a disaster, a total disaster. Women are going to hate me. This is going to be a disaster for the campaign." He said Trump told him to work out the deal with Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg. He's now serving time in jail for committing perjury. It was Weisselberg who sketched out the numbers for Cohen's reimbursement.
The former president charged with falsifying records in those reimbursements. In a federal court nearby, jury selection continues for Senator Bob Menendez's trial. The New Jersey Democrat accused of bribery. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Ukraine as more new American weapons and ammo flow in.
It's a tough time for Ukraine. That's according to President Volodymyr Zelensky as he welcomes the Secretary of State. Russia is making gains in the east, pushing towards Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv. Antony Blinken promises the U.S. military aid package that's now reaching the front line will make a difference.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. They're voting in two states where Republicans in November hope to flip two Democratic Senate seats red. In West Virginia, where Senator Joe Manchin's not running again, Governor Jim Justice faces Congressman Alex Mooney in a GOP primary. In Maryland, where Democrat Ben Cardin's retiring, Republican Larry Hogan will likely face the winner of the Senate Democratic primary.
Congressman David Trone, the co-owner of Total Wine & More, has already spent $50 million of his own money on his Senate bid. He's facing a tough fight against Prince George's County Executive Angela Olso Brooks.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
You may have seen the Bortz billboard all across town. Let everyone know Bortz is back and his new home is Extra 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. It's the way life should be. Flexible. It's the way life should be. On your time. That's the way I like things to happen. You know, just how I like it. Make it perfect for me. That's what the Extra 106.3 app does. You can also stream us on the YouTube channel, which we're streaming there now. At Extra 106.3 is our handle there. I just saw an overlay, I think it's called, that Rhino built, and it says Extremism. It's very clever, Rhino.
Yes.
I just happened to catch that as I was walking in over your show. You were doing something over there, working with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's clever. Rhino came up with something very, very clever. As usual, as per usual, he come up with something good again. So if you're watching on the YouTube channel, we appreciate it and hope you'll continue to do that.
Yeah, I want to make sure that Thursday we're going to be out at for our big event at Rustic's Manor. So I'm thinking, well, people won't be able to watch on our YouTube channel. So I'm trying to find a way to make sure that we will hopefully be able to at least have some video from the event live so people can see what's going on and make sure that they get out there throughout the afternoon to see Kimmer and everybody else there at Rustic's Manor. So just to show all the fun and how beautiful that place is and the great work that Steve and his wife have put together to make sure that we can back the blue.
Kimmer's going to go?
Yeah, he's doing a show from out there. Yeah.
He didn't want to.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious
he
about.
probably did.
Well, I don't know. I just know
it's
that he
outside
is.
of the friendly confines.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's a pretty, Rustic's Manor is a pretty
really
friendly
cool
place.
spot.
Yeah, it's a cool place, but also a lot of like-minded folks. So it's not like you're just putting out in the wilderness or anything.
Yeah.
You know?
He might go feral out there.
Oh, that's true.
Just start biting people. Karate chop.
Take my shirt off.
I think you should invite Mama out there.
Man, she's got to drive a school bus, or I would.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Not all day she doesn't.
Yeah, well, but in the times that
that's.
I mean, it's morning time. Yeah, it's just that. Like,
what time she get out of there? What's her last?
Probably, I would imagine 6, maybe. I mean, that's my guess.
4 to 8.
Yeah,
like
I know,
when
but then
Mama
it's an hour and plus, over, so it just wouldn't work.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
I'm not opposed to it, but I know what you're doing.
Tell
trying
her to bring all the kids with her. And be like, hey, Kimmer, these are all my kids. Let's get
Mom in the school bus pulling
Is she handling a multitude of schools as far as like, because some of our drivers do elementary and middle school, some do that.
And she drives a special needs bus, so it goes to, I mean, it even goes to, you know how like most buses feed the elementary, middle, and high school for just one. This is like they go to different schools all around the area.
Okay, wow,
too,
all right.
Yeah, because it's just fewer kids.
Yeah,
and they're accommodating.
Still,
it's just in different
that's
places.
Her route. Okay,
So some days are really, really short, and then some days are really, really long. Just depends on who's in school that day.
And there's a different level of responsibility with those sort of students where there's certain restrictions based off of, when they can be let off, when the parents have to be there. And so it's
buckling in is different.
Yes, totally different.
Yeah, it's a
very
big deal.
cool.
Yeah, no, she does good. She's been doing that for, gosh.
Does she burn one afterwards?
No,
she gets the heater out and she's like another one taken care of.
Check mark. Put it in the books, boys and girls.
Takes a sip of her flask.
Yeah, another morning taken care of, sweeties.
Dude, it's so funny because
takes her nip.
Just a nip.
Mama's never smoked. My daddy did, but Mama never smoked. But let me tell you though, and she never really drank either. But nowadays, she will have a glass of wine, and I think it's so funny, especially when you can see that it's having an effect, and she never drinks. So, like at Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything, so she'll have one glass of wine, and I mean, she gets super talkative.
Oh, really?
And my mom already talks a lot, but she gets super talkative.
My mom never consumed any alcohol in front of me while I was growing up.
Same here.
Until I was an adult, and now when she does, it's hilarious because she'll flat out tell me, will you make me a drink to put me to bed? There you go, Mom. Well, I'll go make you one.
and Mama has taken a liking to the cinnamon whiskey Fireball.
Oh, Fireball.
Mama likes a little Fireball. Now she wants a little water in there. She wants to, to dilute it a little bit. Just
Tell
a
her
little
to put
splash
it over
water.
ice. It's real nice over ice.
Yeah, see, let me tell you, and that is the funniest thing I've ever.
That's great.
She's like
doing shots with Mama.
Yeah, she hadn't gotten to the shots point yet, but it's coming. It's
You
coming.
get her
Oh
there.
yeah. She's like, Jared, can I just maybe just a little bit more?
That's like my mom. My mom's like, can you make me a Lynchburg lemonade? And I'm like, oh, a Lynchburg lemonade. You got it, Mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Down it, girl.
My mom's like, only one shot of the vodka because I'm going to have 7 of them.
That's right. I don't want to rush this.
Make my drink.
It's now.
Yeah. My mom's not shy about that
Dude,
at all.
I love it. Yeah.
She's like, I'm on a diet. I only want, like, she has the little, I don't know what they call them. They call them jiggers.
Jiggers, yeah.
Yeah, the little jigger.
shot glass.
So she has that, and I'm supposed to fill that up, and that's it. And then she goes, you can't put too much because I'm going to have 5 of them. And I'm like, well, just have 5 in one glass like me.
That's right. Get done quicker.
Yeah.
That'll get you
much
where you
easier.
needs to be. Your mom is so funny, and she tells the greatest stories.
Oh, yeah.
She's so detailed, and I only know this because I got to spend some time with her for your surprise birthday when you turned 50.
Yes.
And she was over there, and she kept me and my wife Laura in stitches with her storytelling. Very animated.
Oh, no.
Uses her hands. She does not leave out a detail. Let me tell you, it's details that some people probably don't want out there.
Of course, yeah. They're mostly details that none of us want out there. Between my brother and I, we're like, Moms, just shush. They don't need to know this
That's
stuff.
what parents do,
I
man.
know, it's
like, doesn't
great.
matter how much you're like, stop.
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah, but I have a feeling, though.
Yeah. My parents, like, Erin's mom does this to her, too.
Okay.
Like, it's never the, like, oh, she was valedictorian or whatever it may be.
Sure.
It's always like, have I told you about the time that, she was arrested? Or
Set
that's
the
like
house
my
on fire.
mom. Yeah. Have I told you about the time he lied about throwing a snowball at a car? Those kind of things. My mom likes to bring out the, like, this is when
The
he was
stories
bad.
you don't want.
He's a great kid, but just so you know, he wasn't always that way.
I had to
These
rear
are the
him.
bad things he did.
This is when Scott cut all of his hair off. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And I brought a picture. No, you don't need to show this.
What was it? She was telling us a story. I'm trying to remember that. I wish I could jog my memory and remember the story she was telling us that was so funny about you growing up and fighting with your brother and I don't know, something about taking the door off the hinges. Or, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She was so detailed and it was so funny. But
yeah, we used to fight a lot. The doors are made of Luan. My brother and I would always just kind of chase each other. And one day, my brother slapped me or did something, and he ran inside his bedroom. And I said, "Come here, I got to tell you something. Put your ear to the door." And then I punched a hole through the Luan door.
Yes,
and hit him.
That's it.
Yes,
that was the story.
Then I was told, "You must remove this door," and we took the doors off because we weren't allowed to have doors because we couldn't behave ourselves. And then I had to buy a new door and put them all back on.
Goodness gracious, man. That's a strict way of living right there, making sure that you replace what you've damaged. I love it.
We snuck out one time and they took the doors off also to our rooms.
So the stories just continue on and on.
They love to see, they don't tell you all the nice stuff.
No, I never heard any of the nice ones.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are ones out there. I wanted to tell you, though, make sure you come out on Thursday to Rustic's Manor there in Woodstock, Extra 106.3, supporting law enforcement at Back Our Blue in America, too. That's the website as well if you'd like to sponsor or get your tickets. And tickets are free. They just asked a donation because the money is going to the police foundations of Cherokee County and Holly Springs. Again, Back Our Blue in America 2, TOO, America2.com. Rustic's Manor is located at 503 South Holly Springs Road in Woodstock. We'll be there broadcasting in the morning, but the event really starts at 4 and runs through 8. Kimmer will be out there broadcasting live. Jump houses, dunk tanks, just specifically for Carlos Medina. He asked, and Steve has delivered. Fish and rodeo. I'm talking big fish that you can land one of them that are tagged and win $1,000. While you're out there just hanging out, having fun, the kids are going to have a ball. Live country music, axe throwing, raffles, hot air balloons, more food than you know what to do with. I mean, they're cooking 2 full pigs. They got all kinds of barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Dude, they got the lobster mac and cheese was just added to the menu yesterday. So
we're not leaving all day.
No.
We're going to eat all day.
Yes, just sit and eat until you can't move.
I'm just going to serve.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, put something on a plate. Somebody shows up. I'll be like, here, I brought you this.
You have this. That's awesome.
I raise my hand.
Yeah,
Bring it to me all day.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, the food is just going to be off the charts.
Actually, Rhino and I don't know if y'all know this, we are actually in charge of turning the pig every now and then.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, that's a responsibility, though. You got to do it right.
That's right.
You got to do it slowly.
Exactly. We're slow cooking that pig.
That's right.
Can't wait.
Have you ever cooked before you stopped because of dietary restrictions?
Yeah.
Did you ever cook a pig?
I've never slow cooked a pig like that. I mean, I've
seen it done. I've just never done it myself.
Yesterday,
I
smoked some pork tenderloin because my daughters we'll do a whole bunch of it, and it lasts for about 3 or 4 days.
Sure.
So every one of the swim practices, volleyball practices, we just make them a small plate, and we pick them up from school and take them to go and eat and go to the practice. So I'm used to smoking pork on a regular basis.
Right.
I've just never done the Hawaiian style. Here's the giant pig. Here's how it's going to be set up.
I didn't do it, but I was in Hawaii when we went to these people that we met. They had a home, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna kind of have a luau. It's not one of those big lavish ones that you see at the hotels. It's a real one." And they invited us out there, and they had the pig ready to go, and they were showing me how they were doing it, and they let me help a little bit here and there, and showed me what to do, and that was about it. But it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Yeah. I'd love to do it.
Kahlua pig.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
They'll cook them in the ground, too.
Pineapple, pig in the ground, beer on ice. All my rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
Let's go.
There you go.
I'm all in.
That's the way you live it right there. I'm telling you. Joe Biden, y'all, is running out of things to blame. This is, I think, kind of funny. Because how many times have we heard that man say, it's corporate greed? He brought it up in the State of the Union, if I'm not mistaken. It is.
And last week, too.
Yeah.
About the pricing of inflation, that it was corporate greed.
It's corporate greed. Problem is, his own government disagrees. According to a federal study that came out from the Federal Reserve of San Francisco, corporate greed is not to blame for the prices that you're experiencing. It's not the excuse that the Biden administration has given you. It is all about the policies that the federal government have implemented and that Joe Biden continues. I mean, it is so clear. You and I know this. But it took a study from the Federal Reserve, and surprisingly, that they published this because it goes right in the face of everything that the leader of the federal government says. I'm glad that it came out. I'm glad Reuters is reporting on it. But it is not corporate greed. It is all about poor fiscal policy, poor financial decisions on the part of the Biden administration.
We all know it. I think most Americans know it as well. But the media is not going to tell you that. You're not going to see that story on CNN or MSNBC. What you're going to hear is an idiot saying, oh, well, he's going to kill generals. That's the threat to democracy. Don't vote for him. But you're not going to hear the fact-checking and that you will. And good for Reuters for actually doing that for once. But that's the truth. And everybody knows that. Everybody understands that it's not the corporations that are the problem. What is the problem? The supply chain. What is the problem? The inflation numbers. What is the problem? The interest rates on credit cards and borrowing money. That's the problem. Anybody who has any common sense that knows what it's like to run a business understand that the price of goods that they're getting are higher. The fact that we're sitting here and putting the unions and saying, hey, we need to have triple the money even though these companies can't afford it because we're killing them with all the inflated products, that's the problem.
If we didn't have a Trump administration in the last decade, then people wouldn't know any better. Because the Obama administration, we lived through the Great Recession. Now, inflation was not out of control, but the job market was a mess. As much as they wanted to tell you about, look at how many jobs they've created. We had a Great Recession where basically it was a ton of part-time jobs, the same thing that we have going on now. And so the issue becomes, it's that both administrations want to keep as many people on the government teat as possible. Okay, that's the goal of all communists, is to have you dependent on government.
Yep.
The Trump administration showed you what it's like to not have to be dependent on government, and that is the damning aspect of what's going on right now when it comes to polling. Is that enough people remember what it was like to not have to look around and go, oh my God, why am I not able to afford groceries on a regular basis? Why can't I go ahead and live a regular life that I want to out of my hard work?
I don't understand how anybody can look at what happened during the Great Recession and what's happening right now and realize the same person is
It's the
making
same people.
the same
Yeah,
decisions.
it's the same people
So the
running
same
it.
thing is happening.
Government dependence.
That's exactly right. Quote from the study from the San Francisco Fed. Data from the current recovery shows that the increase in corporate profits is not particularly pronounced compared with previous recoveries. Markups have not played much of a role in slowing inflation since the summer of 2022. Goes right in the face of Joe Biden's greedflation. I think that's what he's called it, greedflation.
If you don't think we're already in a recession, they've changed the definition as many times as they can about where we are.
We already had one in the last year.
Yeah, they're hiding it. And what they've done is it's falsely inflated to the point where they don't care. They're the elites. They're going to make it through this because they do want you to depend on the government. They're going to make it through. They just want to get out of office, out of harm's way, out of losing their positions. But once it is, and that's why Donald Trump was so concerned about, hey, they're going to let this collapse during my presidency so they can blame me, but this is everything that they falsely inflated, and it is going to be a crash. We're heading for a depression. Whether people like it or not, the commercial real estate industry is going to be a huge problem. Already the residential real estate is a huge problem. Mortgage rates, inflation rates. Inflation's not going down.
Yeah, a lot of companies aren't paying their rent.
Yeah, they're done. And what are they going to do? These companies, they're going to be able to sell their stuff to the government. The government's going to bail them out with our money again and buy these and then turn them into affordable housing. That's their idea. They want everybody to live in a 600 square foot apartment and be happy with that.
When I have called what is going on, especially in the stock market, a sugar high, right now you have this government that is spending at a level when you compare it to GDP that is unsustainable.
Yeah.
They're flooding the market with money in order to basically bridge this gap of, look, no, we're taking care of everything. Everything's totally fine. Look, everything's fine. As soon as that is over with, we are going to have that crash. And
Absolutely.
so Donald Trump is right to point out, I'd rather it be on you than me.
Absolutely,
because it's coming regardless.
Then they will be glad to blame it on Donald Trump as soon as he's elected.
They're printing it.
Yeah, and then the crash comes down. They're going to see he was elected and he caused it.
I'd imagine January 2025, February 2025 is when we're going to see this, and that they'll lay that at the feet of Donald Trump and basically go, all right, now fix it, big boy.
Yeah. And they know he can't fix it in 4 years. You cannot fix what's going on in 4 years. It's almost impossible. So now what you're going to see is the blame, like we said, but we're going to start watching as the mortgage industry just kind of collapses. And that's where the big problem is. We're not going away from inflation. Inflated numbers are going to be there. The interest rates are not coming down. They're going to continue to go up. And it's because we continue to print money to cover what's really happening out there.
8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air, one of the few second generations locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, May 14th. An absolutely horrifying and disgusting incident is how Dr. Sabine Lovell describes what happened to her at a Whole Foods store in Chamblee. The doctor recounts that while she was bending down to grab a bag of chips, a man in his late 20s or 30s ejaculated on her back. Initially mistaking it for spilled coffee, she turned around only to witness the man hastily zipping up his pants before she began screaming and chasing after him. Police are currently searching for a black male, approximately 5 foot 11 inches tall, who fled the scene in a black Kia Niro. Former Facebook and Nike DEI executive Barbara Furlow Smiles has been sentenced to over 5 years in prison for embezzling more than $5 million from the companies. In addition to serving time, Furlow Smiles has been ordered to repay the stolen sum. She utilized company credit cards to finance her lavish lifestyle across both California and Georgia. And in sports, Zach Short, standing in for third baseman Austin Riley, made his first start count by breaking a scoreless tie with a run-scoring double in the 6th inning. Ronald Acuna Jr. followed up with a single to bring in Short, leading the Braves to a 2-0 victory over the Chicago Cubs at Truist Park last night. Tonight, Chris Sale will take the mound for the Game 2 against the Cubs, with first pitch scheduled for 7:20. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
If you're into spec ops like we are around here, we got a treat for you next. A U.S. Special Forces operator joins us on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins this show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Are you thinking about dressing up your windows? Nothing enhances your home like gorgeous shutters, blinds, or shades. This is Jim Niarchos from the All Four Seasons Home Show. Our guest this Saturday morning will be Jeff Castleberry of Castleberry Shutters. Jeff will be sharing valuable tips and advice when it comes to considering window treatments that will save you frustration and money. Castleberry Shutters on the All Four Seasons Home Show right here on Extra 106.3.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors. We're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Frickson Associates Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Stephen, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we ran your background check and there were several red flags.
Like what?
You were arrested 7 times for reckless driving.
So?
So you're applying for the school's bus driver position.
If you're in charge of hiring for your company, you know how helpful a background screening can be. That's why companies that use Horizon Background Screening make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com. Horizonscreening.com.
My name is Amy Risley. I have been working for Bruce Hagen for 17 years. When I first started, my boys were 4 and 6, and whenever I needed, Bruce allowed me to bring them to our office. Bruce has always treated us like family, and 17 years later, I still love coming to work for Bruce Hagen. The best part of my job is when I get to put a settlement check in the hands of someone Bruce won a case for and see it change their life. I'm Amy Risley, and I work for Bruce Hagen. Let Bruce Hagen work for you. Hagen-law.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Support conservative conversation on the radio in Atlanta by emailing us at sales@xtra1063.com.
It was late last week. I got a really nice email, shared it with the show, and it was from Christine Bowders. And she had said, hey, man, I listen and want to introduce you to some folks I know, and then the Special Operators Transition Foundation. You can find them on the web, sotf.org. And she joins us this morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're always welcome.
Us.
Yeah, us, exactly. And then you bring in Tommy Stoner with you. Tommy, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing this morning?
So well, and then it's so cool to have you. You guys got a big event for the Special Operators Transition Foundation over at Governor's Gun Club coming up soon, and we'll get into some of that. But So how do y'all know each other? How did this relationship come about? I know you work at Truist, and which is, I mean, this is like the Truist Mecca here at the ballpark.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So we met online, dating online, and it kind of blossomed from there. So
yeah. Well, so Tommy, when I met him, was the CEO of the Special Operators Transition Foundation. And so that's how I was exposed to the organization. And I was absolutely blown away. I am the daughter of an Army officer. And when he transitioned out of the military, he didn't have a program like this to help him find the next best thing. And what he did was go back to college to get his third or fourth degree, because when you're at that level of the special operators, they have lots of education under their belt. But the question is, how do you translate that into the civilian workforce? And so Tommy actually went through the program when he retired after 29 years of service. And then they recruited him to be the CEO after he worked at SunTrust, helping with the IT merger of BB&T.
Goodness gracious, buddy. I got to tell you, that sounds like something that I would want no part of, Rhino.
No, not at all.
That sounds over my head.
It's one of those things, because I talk to veterans a lot, and they're having a hard time finding a position once they get out. And a lot of it is because some people think they're overqualified at this point for certain jobs, and that's a really hard thing for some of these veterans to hear, that they work so hard. They've been through really tough positions, whether they were in Afghanistan or Iraq or somewhere else, to find out now they're overqualified for some of the jobs that they actually want to do. How do you overcome that with some of these veterans?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason the organization was founded back in 2013. So it started as Your Grateful Nation, and then the name changed in 2020 to put the mission right in it, the Special Operators Transition Foundation. But I think the hardest thing coming out of the military, particularly if you've been in for a while, and particularly for the special operations veterans who have been with this incredibly high-performing team, like percentage of folks selected to be
it's
team
like pro
players.
ball players. It's the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
That's right. So, you're selected for your mental abilities, your teamwork, your thoughtfulness, your ability to solve problems and get things done, period, right? No matter what the conditions are. So it's really challenging. And the other thing is, when you join the military, you have a sense of purpose. I mean, nobody's joined the military because they're going to make big bucks, right? Maybe for the college fund or something like that. But you're joining for a sense of purpose, maybe a sense of adventure. And what we've found coming out, and I certainly experienced it, is when you're getting out, it's like, what's my next purpose?
Yeah.
Because that's a huge driver, particularly for the special operations community. So finding your purpose is one thing, and making sure you're connected to that. But then also, I started off as an infantryman in the Ranger Regiment in the Army, then I went Special Forces, so the Green Berets. But then you're like, how does this translate to the business world? Because you just don't have an idea.
Sure.
And I think a lot of veteran issues directly are to that loss of purpose and then loss of fulfillment, and honestly underplaced when they transition out in the business world. So the organization was created to help with that for a very specific community.
Yeah, I tell you, it's interesting because I think people look at special operators and they think, war. And there is a lot. I mean, that's what our special operators are trained to do. I was fortunate enough to serve with a battalion of Navy SEALs aboard Commander Carrier Group 6 on USS John F. Kennedy. Those guys always blew me away every time. They're just amazing guys. But there's so much more to what special ops guys are able to do because of the ability, like you said, to work in any condition. But their ability to organize tasks and organize people and lead people, that's the real value for businesses.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the power, particularly like in the special forces where I came from, it's like figure it out. Like we can't
it's
train
like MacGyver
you.
style.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly that, and that's what I loved about it. It's like figure it out, and they trained you how to think, not what to think, right? They trained you how to like break down problems and just figure it out, and then you kind of just ran into it, and it's like, we were in Afghanistan early on there in the invasion. We had no power. Afghanistan had power, but we ran into this Chinese generator, and we all looked at each other. Hey, do you know how to work on this? It's like, no, but you just figure it out. It's like I tinkered on cars. I did this. You just kind of figure it out. Now scale that up and more complex problems all the way up to the strategic level. And I think you hit it on the head. Like, I spent years working out at embassies on security and stability efforts, working with police and non-governmental organizations, in addition to coming off the back of a helicopter, chasing down bad guys and, taking them out. So there's a breadth of what you did. And oh, by the way, sometimes that was like within days or weeks of each other. So that flexibility to move between these different states and tasks is really a trademark of the Special Operations Forces, and it's what they select for, frankly.
Do you find corporations or companies that look and come directly to you? Are there certain, like Home Depots or Coca-Cola that goes, this is what we're looking for, Truist as well? Yeah,
I think there's companies that really embrace the veterans, but sometimes I think the bigger companies, there's always bureaucracy in bigger organizations. It doesn't matter if it's a company or just a bigger organization. I think the small and medium companies have the biggest bias for hiring, particularly ones that are still run by the founder, because they see it, right? They typically ground themselves, from a garage to create a company, so they get the grit and they see it. So there's really high bias to look at our men and women and say, I get that, I want some of that. With the bigger companies, you got to get in, you got to find an advocate within it, particularly a senior leader. That's what happened with SunTrust. I had the CIO and then leaders below him that said, hey, my dad, in one case, Elise Bachman out of SunTrust, her dad was, in the military, had a rough transition. She's like, hey, I know what you can bring to the table, and it was a huge advocate. So once we get those advocates, it really changes the game, and that's what our organization does, prepares the men and women, but also works to prepare the company and find those advocates.
Christine, I want to bring you into the conversation. How have you seen that success? Are there stories that you can point to that the organization has been able to make this happen? Just be that liaison between a special ops guy, a military guy, and woman to a company like that we're talking about.
Sure. Well, it's absolutely amazing the way that they set up throughout the country. So what's special about it is that it's not job placement where the jobs are. It's, hey, let's find a company that's going to partner in the places that you want to live. So every fundraising event corresponds with an all-day workshop where the organization is pulling in these hiring partners and helping them translate their skills. So I've had the pleasure of sitting in on a few workshops, and in the morning when the men and women introduce themselves, it's all these acronyms that I wouldn't understand. Sure. And by the end of the day, they're talking in civilian terms of how what I've done here is going to be purposely effective in your organization. So that's really amazing. I've been only just a volunteer, and watching from the outside. But every time I go to an event and get to be part of an event, I meet the most amazing people. So it's what's unique about it is it's not a resume writing experience. It's a full year, probably.
It's about 18 months to 2 years, the overall program for the members within it, the fellows, what we call them.
Yeah, so a lot of people want to go back to either where they grew up or where their wife's family is, right? Sure. Or their husband's family. They've been following their partner around the country and the world, and now it's time to go back to where their roots are, and the organization helps them get there. And so Atlanta, we're talking about greater Atlanta. That's why I'm so excited to get our event up in Kennesaw instead of just in the city. I mean, you guys don't live in the city.
Alpharetta and Ackworth.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you live in Ackworth.
I do.
Oh, we're going to see each other all the time now.
I know, right?
Y'all run into each other in public.
It happens, yeah.
Especially if you're on the water somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This dude is turned into a water bug. I mean, he's out paddling all the time and making me envious.
I got a cabin at Holiday Harbor for me and the kids.
All right,
yeah, just next week.
If we need someplace to stay, we might be there.
Come and hang out in the afternoon.
But what do you do for, I know the special operators, what about the other veterans that are out there that do come back and are looking for jobs and struggling to get a job now? I mean, is there any help for them? Do you guys work with them, or is there another organization they can go to?
Yeah, what's incredible out there in the environment now is there's a lot of great organizations such as 4 Block. So there's a local chapter here that works with veterans, doing a very similar mission to us, a little different style on how they do it and focus on what they do, but ultimate end state's the same, to help prepare these veterans, whether they're just getting out or already out in career transition. There's the Commit Foundation. that are specifically focused on helping with the transition into not just a job, but kind of a new passion for life, really. And that's a key part of it. And then you got a lot of other organizations like the Warrior Alliance right here in this building that help with other things, right? There's a lot of physical, mental, financial, legal. There's all kinds of things. And the constellation of supporting organizations out there are great. And that's really what the Warrior Alliance helps do, is mobilize that constellation of support around them. And they're a great partner organization out there for all the veterans organization, including the SOTF overall. So what I'd recommend to the veterans out there, if they're transitioning, recently transitioned, or just looking for that career move, is reach out to these organizations, and they can help you. But what I find a lot of purpose and passion is helping those veterans in transition, whether they're special operations or not, making sure that their journey, is as positive as it can be. Because going back to it, that's what you lose coming out of the military. And again, particularly in the special operations community, no matter how bad stuff got, whether it's the Battle of Mogadishu, Block Hawk Down, really bad conditions, Iraq and Afghanistan, you knew that the men and women on your left and right were there, regardless of the political situation, what the mission was, the bureaucracy of the military. The people on your left and right were there. So these organizations, including ours, are that team, right? So we're that next team to help you through your journey, not just, hey, see you later, you got your first roll out, but what's your life journey? Like, we stay connected with all our fellows, and there's almost 600 now that have come through our program. This is an individual touch program. So they're out there, they're part of that team.
Tommy, you talk about SOTF, which is the Special Operators Transition Foundation. You can find them on the web, sotf.org. How do folks, and we're going to get to the event too, probably in the next segment, but how do people either A, get involved like a volunteer like Christina, or become a fellow, someone who works with SOTF?
Yep, it's right there on the website. So there's really 3 things you can do to help the organization. The simple one is donation, like coming to the fundraising. Just as important, if not more important, is to help be a mentor and a coach and support to help network. So it's on there. Get involved. There's a button called Get Involved, and it'll tell you how to do that, both from the donation and the mentor. And then if you're a special operations veteran out there, click the link on apply to the program, and that'll take you in on the process.
There you go.
To get in.
What about companies that want to get involved, or they're companies that just say, hey, this is what I need, this is what I want, I need a leader, I need somebody that can fit in with us real well? How do they get in touch?
It's the same thing right there on the website. It's called Hire an Operator.
Okay.
So click that button, and it'll take you to the process, and it'll immediately connect you with one of the staff at the organization, and they'll start having a dialogue about what the needs are and what the operators can bring to the table. Again, we work to make sure there's a good fit there for both.
Christina Bowders, Tommy Stoner joining us this morning from SOTF, Special Operators Transition Foundation. We will talk about the event next here on the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Los on Extra 106.3. We're on the air till 10. Then, of course, the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, and the local afternoon show with the Wild Man Marine, the Kimmer Show, 3 until 6 on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
I want you to notice their tents that they're pitching at Emory and Columbia and other places, these tents on their lawn. There's something really odd about these tents, and that in some cases more than others, they're all the same make, the same manufacturer. It's almost as if a truck rode up somewhere and started handing out hundreds of tents to these idiot demonstrators.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsetc.com.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Pack your bags and join the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team in Dublin, Ireland as Toby's Leather to kick off the 2024 football season in Dublin. The Aer Lingus College Football Classic will feature your Yellow Jackets versus the Florida State Seminoles in a special Week 0 matchup on August 24th, 2024. Don't miss this unique opportunity to visit one of the world's most popular travel destinations while cheering on the Jackets on a global stage. For travel packages, tickets, and more information, go to gt2ireland.com. Sting 'em.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to them, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, Jimmy Fala, and Guy Benson. The biggest lineup of conservative voices in the South are on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Going to tell you about a great event that SOTF is doing. That is the Special Operators Transition Foundation. Over at Governor's Gun Club in Kennesaw in just a minute. Christina Bowders and Tommy Stoner are our guests here on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We're on the air until 10. Before we get into the event and how cool that's going to be over Governor's Gun Club, where have you placed veterans? Some of the examples.
Yeah, we place veterans out of our program with big companies like Truist. So I'm not the only veteran that's went to SunTrust Truist, Deloitte, all the way down to very small, 10, 15, even smaller companies. So it's the whole gamut of where we place them in roles, everything from, I'm in technology, so I didn't have a technology background. I can talk about how that, what I'm doing and what the military had here and gave me to be able to do that here in a second. But everything from logistics to sales to transportation and really the skills we have are really adaptable. So if I can parachute into a foreign country and convince them to, fight on our side, on our behalf, you can probably go sell something, right?
Right.
And those are the skills that we try to make them understand they have. Like, hey, you've been doing sales all your life. If you're working in the covert side and you're trying to convince somebody to be a spy against their country, you can probably go sell something, right? It's the same thing. It's influence. All the way to planning, design thinking, leadership, getting things done. So a very structured planning process. How you mentioned earlier, how you task organize around things. So you bring those skills. And then there are a lot of technology skills that our folks have, like rapid development, rapid fielding, rapid initiatives. That's agile development in the tech world. So they just don't realize they have it because it's different language. So we help them translate that overall. What we've seen is a steady growth. So our average salary for our veterans, now this is enlisted, so E5 all the way up to colonels, the average salary coming out of the military for our program now is $140,000.
Nice.
That's that's well above the national average for the same population set, which is 5 figures. And it's part of making sure that they understand their value, they can talk about their value on how they're going to deliver it, and then we connect them with willing people that are willing to listen. Because once these hiring partners hear the stories, that's the magic.
So I'm not going to, let's figure out how to put this. Not adopt a special operator, but is there a way you can sponsor just somebody out there that you go, hey, I align with what this person does. Can I kind of sponsor just one special operator, or someone out there could?
You can, yep. If you go to that same website, it's called Sponsor an Operator, and you'll get in contact with the organization, and you can have a discussion with them about what you're looking for. Particularly, what we really like is we're nationwide. If you're in a certain area, like here in Atlanta, we've got 7 men and women in the program right now that want to be right here in Atlanta. So our program costs about $5,000 over the course of 2 years. It includes their travel and coaching, so that sponsor helps that out. Plus, we like it even more if you help fund and support that transition from a financial, also their journey being a good mentor and helping them connect to your network out there. So
that's great.
Sponsor an operator and support the mission. Click those links on the website.
Well, let's talk about this big event, Thursday, June 6th, Governor's Gun Club, 7 to 9:30, and it is a fundraising event. Talking about raising money, this is something that is so important in a great group of people that have served your nation, served you directly. This is a way to help them. Who wants to take it? So how did it come about, and how do people get involved there?
Absolutely. So Tommy left the CEO role, got recruited back to Truist about a year and a half ago. And so this year we decided to join the Atlanta Task Force and help plan our fundraiser here in Atlanta. And because we're members of the Governor's Gun Club and it's an amazing facility, we convinced everyone that that's where it needed to go. So it's actually a 3-tiered fundraising event. During the day, starting at 2 o'clock, there's very limited tickets, only 10 for sale. It's a shoot with an operator event. So for 2 hours at the Governor's Gun Club, you shoot alongside one of these transitioning fellows. You go through 3 ranges at the gun club. And then at 4 o'clock, you have a private cocktail hour and full dinner with George Pirro. George Pirro is the lead interrogator of Saddam Hussein.
Jeez.
Like big time.
Yeah, anybody that lived through the 90s like we all did, man, remember how incredible that moment was when we went in, and then much later when we actually got him and he was down in the hole.
Right.
Yeah.
So George Pirro is going to have an intimate dinner with these exclusive ticket purchasers. And then at 6 o'clock, we have a VIP cocktail reception in the gun club, and you'll get to mingle with all the fellows along with George Pirro and the band that's coming. So that's the Scott Brown Band. So general admissions at 7 o'clock, $50 a ticket, all tax write-offs, right? It's a 501c3, platinum rated, might I add. So that means our money's spent well. And so at 7 o'clock, the doors open for general admission, and we've got an incredible band, Scott Brown with the War Hippies. So they are partners. Yeah. You know them?
Yeah, I do. Well, they just played a big event for Shepherd's Men up in North Carolina.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've known them for quite a while, and Tommy worked with Donnie very closely and Scott through the national events in Denver. Is it Denver, Colorado? Yeah. So they're storytellers. They're folksy rock band storytellers, and it's going to be a great gathering. We've got almost 400 tickets for sale. So I'd really love to see all of our Patriot friends at the Governor's Gun Club that night.
Yeah, get those quick. And for the private event with George Pirro, how many tickets are available for that? And how do can they get those tickets still, or is it already sold out?
There's 10 tickets available. I'm not sure how many are left. It's $2,500 donation for that shooting event and the private dinner with George Pirro.
That's amazing.
Worth every penny.
Absolutely. And then it's tax write-off too.
Oh,
and then get to hang out and see live music. And just at a great facility, and Rhino and I have been there. Carlos too. We've done events there at Governor's Gun Club. It is an incredible place. So I think people are going to be encouraged to do this out of a few different reasons. It's a cool event. You get to hang out with cool people, and then on top of that, you're supporting some of the finest and bravest that have ever graced the United States of America. And we've had some pretty fine and brave people defend this nation before. You know, this is a really cool event, and I hope and think that people have and will get involved. Go to SOTF. It is SOTF.org. All the ticketing information, I assume, is there. You can get it everything there.
Yeah, you'll click the events button and find Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm so excited for y'all, and I love what you're doing for our men and women in uniform. This is something that I feel like, over the years, has always been talked about, making sure that we take care of our veterans and especially our spec op guys. yet it doesn't seem like it's ever come together quite like it has in the last few years. Have y'all experienced that too?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think we hit this tipping point of lots of great organizations coming together. It's the acknowledgement there was a problem out there, and you get these problem solvers who are like, government's not going to solve it for us.
Imagine that.
We're going to solve it, and that's what's happened. And once it happens, it just feeds on itself. More people get involved, more veterans get involved, and it's just not the veterans. Even if you're not a veteran, some of the best supporters of our organization haven't served a day in their life in the military. And they're just incredible patriots and supporters of our mission and other missions, So just to highly encourage you to get involved. Come out, if you don't do the bigger sponsorship or the higher end, come out to that evening event. Scott of the Scooter Brown Band, Marine veteran, Marine combat veteran, just an amazing singer. And you'll get a chance to meet us in the organization and George Pirro there. So just really, really great event, great place, great people.
SOTF.org is the website, SOTF. Is there anything we left out?
Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of great packages on here, by the way, too. I'm looking at them. You got presenting sponsors still available, I believe. I don't know if it's still, one left. So if you're a big company, there's a great way for you to support this as well. And there are other different tickets, the Heroes VIP ticket, they've got some of those, and then the Patriots concert ticket. So make sure you go to the website and check that out. Can I ask, can we get off a little bit?
Yeah, man, absolutely, yeah.
So what do you think about what's going on right now with our military and the way it's being handled from the guys with all the ribbons that wear the uniform but don't actually get on the ground to what our service members are facing today?
Yeah, I think we're off track, personally.
Amen.
If it's not glaring, the threats that are out there right now, whether it's still fundamentalism is real, it didn't go away. You clearly what Russia is doing in Ukraine, it's not going to stop there. Putin has a intent to expand and become a dominant global European power and do it by force. You got the China threat that is real and present. If it's not clear that we need the best postured, best equipped, best trained military with the right people, with the right focus, we're not going to do well.
Is cybersecurity a big problem right now? Do you think that's more dangerous than an actual invasion onto our shores?
I think China's a real threat, and it's there's the military piece, but it's you look at it's political, it's economic, and it's military, right? There's three things there, and they're crushing us on the economic by cyber threats, stealing trade secrets, what they do economy wise, so having massive impacts. But it's a real threat, and we need to counter it.
And I'm telling you, it is a scary world that we live in, and a scary world that we're turning over to our kids. So it's so imperative that we're involved and we pay attention. A lot of people getting out of the Navy right now, and I miss my Navy days, and they're like, this ain't the same Navy that you loved, and that scares me.
Yeah,
that really scares me. Thank y'all. I hope people will go check out the event. SOTF.org is the website. Special Operators Transition Foundation. Christina, Tommy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love to see y'all again real soon. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Ronald Reagan's question in a debate with Jimmy Carter in October of 1980 still rings true in May of 2024. That discussion next on the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Lowson till 10 on Extra 106.3.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
I saw an absolutely 100% perfect cartoon somewhere in Facebook this morning. It depicted a parent-teacher conference. In the first panel, labeled 1969, the teacher behind the desk, the parents, and the student in front of the desk. The student head bowed, looking embarrassed, upset. The parents are holding up the student's report card in front of the student, pointing at it, and telling the student, explain these bad grades. Second panel, teacher behind the desk, parents in front of the desk. There's the student looking smug. The parents are holding up the report card in front of the teacher, yelling at the teacher, explain these bad grades. So absolutely, perfectly, 100% true. And meaningful to the Queen and I right now because of our experience on the cruise ship Icon of the Seas last week. Huge ship, 7,000 passengers, maybe 1,500 of them kids. Signs everywhere, no running. Kids running everywhere. Bumping into you, knocking people down, knocking plates out of people's hands at the buffet. In 1969, the parents would be all over these kids. Explain your behavior. Not now. In a conversation with the crew member, I learned that now if any crew member reprimands these kids for running or tells them to get out of the hot tub, it's for 18 and over, the parents will immediately report that crew member as being rude to their kids. So the crew members learn not to say something, and the parents aren't going to do anything about it either. Everybody's kids are absolutely perfect, and how dare you ever correct their behavior or suggest that they've done something wrong. Thank you, Dad, for those switches and belts. I deserved every damn one of them. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hey there, Atlanta sports fans. Home team Brandon Leak here with Sonder Health Plans. You know, I've been singing praises about their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans, and now they're stepping up their game with new health plans that include home safety and accessibility modifications. Call them up right now and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
I just found out, you know how Disney likes to take old characters and basically make them lesbians or...
Oh, well, they like to change Tinkerbell's outfit or whatever, yeah.
Doctor Who has always either been a white man or a woman. Disney has taken over, and now they have a guy named Nkuti Gatwa. He is the 15th Doctor Who. He is the first black, not only black, but openly queer.
Oh, God.
Doctor Who.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can run.
Former President Trump has arrived for day 17 of his trial. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and House Speaker Mike Johnson will also be there showing support in New York as Michael Cohen gets ready to testify again about paying Stormy Daniels to hide an alleged Trump affair.
Yesterday, in the stunning testimony from Cohen, Trump's former lawyer and loyal fixer, he implicated the former president directly into the scheme to falsify business records to protect Trump's 2016 presidential campaign.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court.
Just wait for the cross-examination. Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, is going to try to rip Michael Cohen apart, completely tear his story piece by piece.
In a few minutes, we might hear from the former president on his way into the courthouse, likely once again calling the case a hoax and political, trying to derail his 2024 campaign. President Biden will focus on the economy later today at a White House Rose Garden event. Fox's Jackie Heinrich's there.
Today, the president will announce plans to keep certain Trump tariffs on Chinese imports in place and significantly raise some others. It affects electric vehicles, which will jump from 25 to 100%. Also, semiconductors, batteries, steel, and aluminum. Even though back in 2020, Biden criticized the Trump tariffs and even pledged to repeal some of them.
We just got an inflation update showing wholesale prices rose 0.5% last month, more than expected. The annual rate of producer price increase also rose, now at 2.2%, up from 1.8% in March. Tomorrow we'll get the April update on inflation of consumer prices. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Ukraine touting new U.S. military aid.
The assistance is now on the way. Some of it's already arrived. More of it will be arriving, and that's going to make a real difference against the ongoing Russian aggression.
As Russian forces take control of more areas, advancing on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. In Gaza, as Israel keeps battling Hamas, the UN says 500,000 Palestinians have been displaced fleeing the fighting. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hours, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, Southeast Premier Home Exterior Solution. Quality and precision you can rely on for 20 years now. SouthernExteriors.co. It's SouthernExteriors.co. Tug, Rhino, and Los hanging out. Thank you for making it to the bonus hour. We're glad that you're here. I wanted to bring up this event that happened. It was a bridesmaid. In fact, the sister of the bride getting married. This girl has gone viral after she picked up a huge snake that slithered onto the footsteps, onto the doorsteps of the venue where they were standing. And without pause, this bridesmaid reached down, grabbed the snake by the tail, held it away from her, and everyone just watched as it all happened.
I don't think I realized how big it was until I picked it up, and I was like, oh my God, the snake's as tall as me.
Erica, you're wild.
Why isn't that girl scared of anything? Come get the snake! Yep, I just grew up watching Steve Irwin, and my role model.
Yeah, it was a gopher snake. It wasn't poisonous, which is good. Let me tell you the attire she's wearing, because this will put it all in perspective. She was wearing cowboy boots under her long bridesmaid dress. Cowboy boots. That's the kind of people I want to be around right there.
I know one girl who she takes a lot of pride in, killing copperheads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just somebody I've known over the years. And I've always thought to myself, how are you so comfortable around snakes? Oh, because you kill them all the time.
That's right.
With her, she's like, I'm grabbing snakes because it doesn't bother me one bit.
I don't care about this. And this thing is gigantic, man. I want to pull up this video so y'all can see it. I don't know anybody outside of Jason Clark, who did the show for Animal Planet called Snakeskin, that he would just go up and grab a snake. This is a woman. I can't get the video to come up so y'all can see what this woman looks like. But this snake was freaking gigantic, man. I'm talking like, I bet it was at least 4.5, maybe even 5 feet long. I mean,
and she just grabs it by the tail.
Like she's at a dang rodeo. Just like walks over, picks it up, nonchalant, takes it, tosses it, and back in like I don't know, this happened in 20 seconds maybe. Look at this thing, dude. Let me show you. Look here right now. Look at this thing.
Oh, creepy.
I'm not a fan.
And yeah, you're right. She's in the cowboy boots.
I love her.
She has no
she's
problem.
A matchmaker.
Yeah,
fetching that snake.
We'll get her hooked up with.
Well, she's got to like feminine men, Joe.
Yeah,
I think she might be. She might be more masculine than you.
She didn't say with a lisp. He said feminine. Yeah, those. I guess they're the same. Maybe they're the same. But it was just an odd way to address it. But
she's wearing the pants.
That's
Joe.
right. She's going to wear the pants in your.
She's going to call the shots.
That's right.
You just have to deal with it.
Are you down, Joe? If you were in that situation, could you be like Erica Rodriguez and just walk over and pick the snake up?
I've done it before.
You picked up a snake before?
Yeah.
A wild snake out in the just out. Okay. When was this?
At camp.
I
worked at a summer camp, and there were snakes, and there were kids that were afraid, and I grabbed a snake and threw it in the woods.
But was it a green snake, a garden snake?
It was a garden snake.
Okay, yeah. So
it was like
6 inches long. 6 inches long.
It was a big one.
Okay, was like
it was one of them black ones.
A garden snake in black, they're green.
Oh,
Come on, man.
then I don't know.
There was the one that was in my yard like last year, and after I threw a couple things at it, it finally was like, all right, you want me out of here? Then I took the water hose out and I sprayed it till it would leave because I didn't want a 6-foot snake in my backyard.
Oh, yeah.
No, I like shotguns, shovels, really work well to get rid of them.
Well, I want them around.
Yeah, it's illegal to kill the
I like the nice ones.
Yeah.
It was a nice one. It just, in my mind, because of my dog and because of my wife, had my wife seen it, we would have had to move. And if my dog had seen it, she would have tried to mess with it, and I just don't want my dog.
No,
to
you
mess
don't.
So I gotta tell you,
dude, that's
listen,
the way to handle it.
It's. I want you out there because you eat poisonous snakes.
That's right.
But I can't have you in my yard.
I just asked Erin. Like, she loves spiders and snakes. So I'm
She's
like,
so cool,
hey,
man.
you know what? What is that one? And can you get rid of it, or is it okay?
I would rather not.
Now, I will say, copperheads, I smashed a bunch of those eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's copperheads. That's understandable.
One of them took a shovel to the back of the neck.
Yeah, exactly.
His head fell off. I don't know what happened there.
Well, you killed it because it's a venomous snake, and you're okay. It's okay. It's legal to kill a venomous
that's
snake.
legal, right?
It's illegal to the non-venomous. And there's only 3 venomous snakes that are in this area of Georgia. There's 6 venomous snakes that reside in the state of Georgia. 3 that are in the area that we live in.
I like the black snakes. I like the ones that, eat like
king snakes are great.
King snakes are great.
Some of them I think of as like Republicans, and then little mice as Democrats, and then those snakes eat those stupid Democrats, those little rats.
That's what we're
as
looking
I like
for.
to call them.
That's what we're looking for.
I just like the fact that I have a snake that's out there that's on patrol.
Yeah.
You just can't be on the deck or you can't be in the backyard.
Which is completely understandable because, a lot of people are
Because I've had one time, and I've never told my wife this, and this was when we were moving some stuff into the basement. A small garden snake got into our house.
Yeah.
And I killed it in our basement.
Whoops.
Had she known about that,
you'd had to move.
We'd had to burn down the house.
I don't I have a weird thing with snakes. Like, I don't, if they're okay and they're not venomous, obviously, like, I don't mind handling them. I don't mind touching them. I'm not afraid of them in that regard. They just startle me. And we have one of those fake rubber snakes that you put out there, like, in the garden and stuff. Yeah. And everyone put it on the top of the mailbox. Not the mailbox, the toolbox, sorry. Okay. And I opened the door and it was just sitting there. Boy, I cursed and jumped about 6 feet.
Oh, it'll make you jump.
Yeah, it scared the heck out of me.
I do that every single evening when I take my dog out. I will always turn the light on to the back door, and I glance around because one time I did step out. Now, it was a small garden snake, maybe like 2 feet, but that thing took off right in front of me and scared the bejesus out of me.
Daylights out of
me. I was like, ha!
You're getting out your judo jump?
Like, I jumped up in the air, like, jumped back, like, oh my God! Like, it was a landmine, okay? And so now I glance just to be like, is there a little garden snake out there? I just want to make sure.
There is nothing that, like, turns me into a screaming child than some kind of bug or spider falling on me, or a snake, like, just appearing out of nowhere. It always gets me.
And the thing is, they're not trying to surprise you. You surprised it.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Like, a guy had a chipmunk that jumped out while I was mowing the yard yesterday or the other day, and I went, "Oh my God!" Like vermin.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I surprised it. It's scary. It got scared of me. I wasn't supposed to be afraid, but I was.
My buddy who was in my wedding a long time ago. We've been buds since I don't know 9th grade or something. He sent me this video on TikTok, and it was a bunch of guys out on the golf course.
Yeah.
And they had somehow taken, because you brought up the fake snake.
Yeah.
They'd used fishing line so he couldn't see it and attached it to one of his clubs. And so he goes back to get the club and pulls it out, and then the snake is out. And, dude, he was tumbling and turning and falling and trying to get his tail away from the snake, and it was attached to the club that he sold, so it just kept coming toward him.
Yeah.
And dude, I thought my man was going to have a heart attack, and these people were just laughing like they could not. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, and it was.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that makes people so skittish of snakes. It's not even real snakes. It's people are so terrified of the thought of it.
Yeah,
that they can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know those egg chairs, and they hang from like a chain and they bounce. So we have one of those.
Are they called whatever they call it. Anyway, go
I
ahead.
call it the egg chair, but
I know what you mean.
So I'm sitting in that. I got my ultra right beer in my hand, and I'm enjoying myself. And the carpenter bee goes above me into a hole, and Aaron gets the bug salt gun and shoots in the hole, and the thing comes flying out and falls on my head. You would have thought I spilled my beer. I turned around in the egg chair. I fell off the chair. I ran off the porch. And she's like, it's a bumblebee. Like, it doesn't even stink.
They're not
But it doesn't
dangerous.
matter. I don't think that at the moment.
Nobody does. It's not just you, man. There's not unique. People freak out over
I'm
that
thinking
stuff.
it's going to fall in my eye, my mouth. Like, those are the kind. I don't want to swallow it. I don't want it in my eye or my ear or my nose.
And the moment when you're frightened, too, you see differently than you would. Like, if you saw it flying by, you'd be like, oh, it's a carpenter bee. When it's close to you or buzzing by you, you're like, it might as well be the devil himself.
I don't know why bees and spiders have never bothered me. Like with my youngest daughter, she's like deathly afraid of bees and spiders. Like, I mean, we're talking like the tiniest little spider. She'd be like, Dad, there's a spider in my room. You got to kill it. And she makes it sound like it's some sort of tarantula.
Right.
And no, it's like the size of like half your pinky.
Right.
But that's her bugaboo. That's the one she doesn't care. Mine is snakes.
Okay.
That and the equine. Okay. Two things I don't mess with.
The equine and the snakes and hot air balloons. I mean, we got a list.
Yeah.
We actually have a for
Boy, if we ever need to torture him.
Things I don't mess with. Like, let's take him up in a hot air balloon with a snake and a horse.
That's right. It would just be
How uncomfortable is he going to be?
That'd be the greatest video ever, though.
No kidding.
A snake, a horse, and Carlos Medina in a hot air balloon?
Dude, I'm telling you, it just seems like those things don't
Sounds
belong
like
together.
Oz to me.
It certainly does. Freaking Wizard of Oz up here on the Morning Extra. Extra 106.
The cowardly Los.
That's exactly right.
That's right. He seems kind of brave, but he's got a snake and a horse up there.
That's right.
He just keeps crying.
And he's eased up against this hot air balloon, and he might have a heart attack at any moment.
What's the one thing that scares you, Tug?
Gosh, man. I don't know, just somebody jumping out at me, I guess. I don't really. I'm not scared
of no one or anything.
No,
the Air
I don't
Force.
think so. No.
The Air Force.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Air Force scares me because I don't trust them. I kid. The Air Force is great. No, I don't know. I don't really have anything that
it's the Air Force.
Anything that anything that jumps out and startling. You know what? I'll take that back. Okay.
The Air Force. What are you afraid of them? They don't even do anything now. All they do is like play computer games and send drones out. They don't even fly planes anymore.
I know, right? No, movies that could actually happen. Like when you're watching, like the slasher movies, that doesn't bother me. It's the ones where you're like, who might be that person in my life? You know what I mean? Like it's the psychological movies, and those are the ones that freaks me out a little.
Like you could see yourself getting locked in Joe's basement,
whatever. Yes, maybe it is.
Him like giving you lotion
in the
basket.
Yeah, rubs the lotion against its skin, rubs and gets the hose again.
That's right. Like movies like that, I've never watched that movie again.
It's told.
I've never watched that movie again. I really haven't. I saw it one time. That's all I needed to see it. I never want to see it again. Yeah, exactly. That weirds me out so bad.
Yeah.
Like Seven.
That and Seven.
Seven weirded him. Not as bad. Yes, you're exactly right because that was so well laid out and planned out and disturbing, and that weirds me out. If you're looking for something to weird me out, it's movies like that.
Okay.
I just don't watch them again, man. Silence of the Lambs, one time's all I needed.
Yeah, that was it. One and done. Oh, we're good. I remember. Okay, bye.
Have y'all watched it ever again?
You are the James Gum of this radio station.
I'm not sure how to take that.
I'm just dancing in front of the mirror.
Yeah. I don't
Would you do me?
No.
I do me.
That's who Tug has turned into. Is she a great big fat person?
Yeah, so gross.
I'm getting chills doing that. Like, let's move on to like make fun of Joe Biden or something.
Absolutely.
Man.
Reagan asked a question back in 1980 when he was debating Jimmy Carter. It's still prevalent today.
Next Tuesday, all of you will go to the polls. You'll stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you would ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? And if you answer all of those questions yes, why then I think your choice is very obvious as to who you'll vote for. If you don't agree, if you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how, when you listen to that, how incredible that happened in 1980, and today the question is exactly the same.
But democracy, Tug. I mean, democracy. He's going to kill generals. And no, we're not better off than we were 4 years ago. I know that a lot of people didn't like the rhetoric. I know that people fell into the trap of CNN and everybody else telling you that he's a racist, he's this, he's that, and he wasn't, and he isn't. And that's not who Donald Trump is. But they've done a great job creating that picture and painting him as a criminal and as somebody that is a threat to democracy. But the reality of it is, and I think a lot of people today are seeing it, the economy is destroying families, middle class, low income, and even some that are right before millionaires. They're all getting hurt by the policies of the Biden administration, and it will continue for another 4 years if that's the way you want to vote.
Well, I have a very simple question. And what it comes down to is it points out the chaos of 2020. Are you more afraid of affording your groceries or of an invisible virus?
Because I think that should be an obvious answer. That question is answered itself.
Because America was so comfortable that it was driven crazy by something they could not see, could not imagine, and to the point where they're like, let's vote by mail. Let's do this. Let's change all of our voting laws. And before you knew it, suddenly your government was taken away from you and was taken away by the teacher's lounge. And so now, when you see the actual real results, I think if you give people a choice of which one is more damaging to you, which one is more dangerous, you look at it and go, now the real world's hitting me. I can't afford my bills. I'm racking up so much debt. I have liquidated my savings. I ain't that concerned about what was going on in 2020. Now you want to go back to that time and say, I want the guy who handled the economy correctly.
It's almost like the psychological thriller a little bit that scares me, right? That invisible virus scared so many people that they couldn't get by.
People crazy.
It made them crazy.
It did make them crazy, and it's also destroyed our ability to think about what the direction of this country is really heading towards, because we've been so afraid and listened to the Democrats tell us how we need to run our life, how we need to feel a certain way, how we're not supposed to want for anything anymore. And that's just not acceptable to people. People in this country want more. They want to be able to be rewarded based on their merit and not rewarded based on any other part of their color, who they sleep with. And that's a Republican ideology is, hey, work hard and enjoy American success. Enjoy the land of freedom. Enjoy freedom, because the Democrats are the ones who are trying to take it away. More than anything else, I have never felt more trapped by a party than I do today. I sure didn't feel this way 4 years ago. Yes, there were certain things that, they kind of blocked and they kind of talked about deplorables, extremists, blah, blah, blah. But never did I feel shut down and told that I'm not allowed to talk or say the things that I feel the way I did starting with the Biden administration.
Yeah, and going back to the success thing, the success of the United States, you're not guaranteed that. Your hard work is not guaranteed to pay off,
No.
But look at the people who have failed completely and filed bankruptcy, including Ted Turner and Bill Gates and all these people that have had things that they worked so hard for completely fail. And then that gave them the springboard to do something else, which ultimately did become their success.
Right.
I think that is the thing that gets left out more than anything else. America doesn't guarantee your success. It guarantees the opportunity for you to be successful.
Tell me another country in the world where a man can go into his garage, hang up a banner, spray paint it with the word Amazon on it, and hope that it works by selling a bunch of books and turning into what he is today. You don't see that anywhere else in the world unless they were already born rich or sold oil or stole money from you, the people.
CNN knows Gen Z is getting crushed under Biden and are finally owning up to it. We'll talk about that next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. We'll get the headlines in next, too.
If If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
Atlanta, let's talk about Steel Power Equipment. And where do you get your Steel Power Equipment? You do that from the good people over at Howard Brothers. When the going gets dirty, get a Steel. Not a Goey, not a Joe. You get a Steel. That is much more useful for you. You already trust Steel for their weed trimmers, their chainsaws, their leaf blowers. Now you can trust them for their pressure washer needs as well. And you can get your Steel pressure washer from Howard Brothers. Howard Brothers has the right Steel pressure washer when you need that heavy-duty cleaning power around the house, on the driveway, your deck, and many, many other needs. They deliver performance to get the toughest cleaning jobs done. Steel Power Equipment is available at Howard Brothers locations in Alpharetta, Athens, Dorville, Duluth, Lula, and Oakwood. The grass is always greener, and the project, of course, is always cleaner when you take care of it with Steel and with Howard Brothers.
Extra 106.3 listeners are falling in love with Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell.
Me and my wife now find our favorite sandwich place. That food over there was great.
Yeah, those rolls are so soft and sweet. I mean, it was just melt in your mouth. It was, and the steak was tender and juicy and flavorful. I can't say enough about it. It was very, very impressive.
It was so good.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner. Nucky'sHoagies.com.
Are you thinking about dressing up your windows? Nothing enhances your home like gorgeous shutters, blinds, or shades. This is Jim Niarchos from the All Four Seasons Home Show. Our guest this Saturday morning will be Jeff Castleberry of Castleberry Shutters. Jeff will be sharing valuable tips and advice when it comes to considering window treatments that will save you frustration and money. Castleberry Shutters on the All Four Seasons Home Show right here on Extra 106.3.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. We handle bonds throughout Metro Atlanta, including from our newest offices in Cherokee County and Clayton County. In most cases, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors, we're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
It's that time of year again when the owner of Central Heating and Air Conditioning, Chuck, brings back the 4th annual Christmas in July, benefiting Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Hey, it's Tug for Central Heating and Air Conditioning. If you want to help give back to the community, all you have to do is sign up for a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and $10 from every new maintenance agreement will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. The more maintenance agreements you sign up for, the bigger and better we can make the 4th annual Christmas in July for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Central services all makes and models. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. So call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com to sign up for a maintenance agreement and help Chuck and Central Heating and Air give back to the community. Carrier products, carrier warranty, and carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Finally, there is conservative talk in Atlanta, Georgia.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. It's chaos in here. Rhino's got himself tickled over there.
Well, I was invited to a wonderful event, and I said, well, unless I'm getting an award, I don't want to go.
Yeah,
I'm not getting any award.
Some sort of award.
I haven't deserved anything.
I only show up to awards when I get an award.
That's right, exactly.
I have a very, very hard, fast rule.
I'm not even going to do that anymore. And I'm going to do I'm too important, like some of the celebrities, and send in the video. Like, I appreciate you guys and this award that you gave me. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it today because I'm doing something way more important.
I sent you a Zoom video.
Yeah, look, it happens a lot.
So happy.
Well, but the thing is, these award shows, a lot of times, especially if it's music, it's an honor, yes. But do they mean anything? No. So I'm not going to leave a $500,000 payday to go to an award show.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night. That's what happens with artists all the time.
Yeah.
When they send
I'm filming a very important piece, Jumanji 6.
Yeah, that's right. Or performing in front of 25,000 people that are going to pay me $500,000. So award nice. I'll send you the video. Thank you for letting me know. And everybody's happy.
Peace out. Have a great time. Enjoy.
That's what happened. It's funny.
I don't need awards.
Yeah, awards.
I do this for you, the people.
Yeah.
Keep your award.
There is a big award ceremony coming up. The Warrior Alliance is doing their Warrior Alliance Awards. It's going on at the Roxy Theater next door. It's just the Impact Awards is what they're called in galas. It's a really big event. It's super cool.
If I could make that, I'd go.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what kind of food they got.
I think it's heavy hors d'oeuvres. I don't think it's like it's not, because we'll be over.
It's not like
Rustic's
pick chicken
Manor.
or fish.
Yeah.
It's not Chick-fil-A like we're getting at Rustic's Manor Thursday morning.
Or a hog in the ground.
Ooh, the hog in the ground.
See, that's the other thing. But it does. No, the awards are great. They highlight people's work, their civic duty, volunteerism, just things that veterans and military members have done to benefit the community. It's a great event. It really is.
There are too many better people there than I need to be. I don't need to be there. No. There are too many good people there.
Well, no, you'd fit right in, man, because you're a patriot and love this country just like the people there. So you would fit right in.
I would go support them and honor them for sure. That's one of those events I would love to honor someone for. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great event, and the Warrior Alliance does great work.
I mean, it's 2 days away. Do you think they'll let me host it?
Yes. Possibly. I mean, it seems a little late in the game. I think I may have already gotten a host. this close
but they're looking for a star.
Now, if they're looking for a star, they would let you.
Only if you wear your new cat shirt or your Dr. Fauci clown shirt.
Yeah, the Fauci clown shirt.
We'd have to.
That always makes people think.
Reach out to Scott Johnson and see what we can work on.
Remember, I've had it for nearly 4 years.
Right.
Way ahead of the curve on this one, people.
Way ahead of the curve again. So just all kinds of good things happen around us. We had the event that's going on at Governor's Gun Club for the special operators.
That is so cool.
June 6th is going to be super cool.
I'm going to that one.
Impact Awards tomorrow night. You got our event. Thursday night you got our event with the team over at Rustic's Manor, benefiting the police foundations of Cherokee County and Holly Springs.
Giving back, man.
So yeah, just a lot of people around us doing the right thing, giving back and doing good work. If you're looking for the silver lining around all the bad news, and there's plenty of bad news, that's it. There are people giving back, people doing well. And we're seeing young men in this country become even more conservative and really do what needs to be done. Stand up to people who aren't doing the right thing. Like the kids at North Carolina, that's that'll always be the bookmark for me. That's what I'll always go back to. Those guys protecting the flag and how much that means to me. And the fact that they did that spontaneously, because they're good kids, man.
They're great kids.
And there's good happening all around us. All you have to do is look for it. Now, when it comes to Gen Z, Joe Biden is not having much luck with them because they've been so frustrated with the Biden economy and Bidenomics. Maybe they need some Maganomics, Rhino.
They definitely need Maganomics. This is fun to watch because CNN was almost forced to have to do this article at this point because Gen Z is losing their mind. They're getting hit harder by inflation than any other group, and those in their early 20s. Number one, they're earning less money. I know that they're saying wages are up. It's not true. The wages aren't up. These kids are going for these jobs, and they're saying, hey, you're young. I could pay you a lot less. The other thing is they have a lot more debt. They have debt from credit card debt, from trying to keep these homes, and in reality, reality, they can't even afford a home, so they're in apartments that they can't even afford at this point. And everything else has skyrocketed to the point where they realize they're in trouble. The economy right now is crushing them. And this is a bad thing for Joe Biden because this is what he depended on, the youth movement. And now they're looking, saying, wait, I have no future. I will never be able to get a mortgage. These student loans that they keep promising, they're not going anywhere. I'm still going to have to pay them. I know they're making me feel that way. But now I've also had to use my credit card just to live a normal life, to go to the grocery store, to pay for gas. And the interest rates on those credit cards are a 40-year high. We can't afford this anymore.
There is something that you can take advantage of here, because as my wife does the work for her company when it comes to Gen Z, as far as studying them and then basically puts up research data for other companies to use on how to market to them, right? How to market to them. Yeah. One of the important aspects is that an overwhelming amount of people in Gen Z, while they don't really have a specific political affiliation, they're across the board, but they all want their lives to mean something. They're driven to have an impact. This is where this opportunity has come up, where if you push to Gen Z that you can help bring back the American dream, I think that resonates with them.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Because
Absolutely
right now
does.
they know exactly what's going on. They've seen it. They all experienced basically the Great Recession where their parents struggled, had some issues. Now that they're adults, they're experiencing their own Great Recession, this own point in time where they can't afford things. And you can actually push it to them that if you want to change the economic future of this country, this is how you can vote. And that would matter to them.
And listen, we played it last segment, and I just got just a quick segment because it's the question that Ronald Reagan asked.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
And the answer is absolutely not. You're not. No. And everybody recognizes it. It doesn't matter if you're at the grocery store, the gas station, where you are. If you're looking at your savings and your retirement, and now with inflation so high, they're basically saying you need at least another times of what you've saved. You need to at least take half of that and double it. So if you've saved $1 million, you need $2 million to retire. It's affecting everyone, not just the younger voters, and it equally affects people that are getting ready to retire because they're not able to do that.
If you're single, you need to make at least $75,000 a year just to be able to afford your bills, not to have extra to go on vacation and all of that. And right now, when you look at it, there is no future. There is no mortgage. There is nothing they can do because when you look at rates, you're paying about $1,300 for a mortgage. If you were able to find a house for $225,000, they're not out there.
Good luck.
When I just put in some of the lower areas in Marietta, okay, I'm not going to like really bad areas, but I'm thinking about where college kids might want to be, and this is just Marietta in general. A 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath is $475,000.
That's a house, right?
This isn't in a nice area. This is a house.
Just normal.
You are getting these numbers of 6.75 interest rate, okay, and that's if you have perfect credit. But like I said, these kids don't have credit. They don't even have credit yet, or they can't establish it, or they have bad credit because they've been running it up, trying to find jobs, trying to just live a life in an apartment.
We had a Forsyth County teacher who helped us with nanny care 2 years ago, and I still remember her asking the question. She was down in our basement. We're all having, her and her fiance having a glass of wine with my wife, and she flat out just said, "How have y'all done all this?" And now we had to basically tell her, it's like, it was a different time. Like when we purchased this home and then did this was 2010, and it was a different time than what you're living in. At the time it was like 2021, 2022. I cite this information that, there's 1,300 respondents that my wife's company ended up asking Gen Z about their financial situation. And from the report, 31% feel financially secure. 69% say their financial situation is fair or worse. Like
in the past 4 years, or what's the time stretch?
This is the past 2 years.
Past 2 years, got it.
In fact, this report came out about 6 months ago. So 69% of Gen Z is saying I'm either worse off or I'm just getting by.
Yeah.
And that's not how you build a life in this country.
No, of course not. And the thing
but that's where they're willing to listen.
Yeah. Sure. Because what's the alternative? Not listening or just going with the status quo, which is
32% say that their finances are poor or very poor.
And for me, I've got a kid in college, so like in 3, maybe 4 years, he's going to be in that workforce that sucks. He's going to be in that economy that sucks, and it's going to probably fall on my shoulders to give him that hand up.
And here's the problem. 5 years down the road, we're looking at $54 trillion in debt, okay? So that is going to compound on what these poor kids are facing. Your son, my son, Carlos's daughter. They're going to have to navigate 5 years from now when they turn 18 years old and then decide where they want to go to school when they get out. They're not going to have opportunity anymore because of the debt that we've incurred, and we continue to spend and we do not cut. We are in big trouble, and our kids are in big trouble. The best thing that Republicans can do right now is go out, like Carlos said, and said, if you want a future, you need us.
Let's go with just the idea of like what kids do. Like your son, if you were to ask him, Jacob, do you think you'll be rich one day? Okay. Let's fast forward that, or let's rewind that back 15, 20 years, because everyone believes they're going to be rich and famous. Millennials, 63% believe they were going to be rich. Only 51% of Gen Z believes that.
Wow. That's a big number, man. That's a big drop.
That's almost a big 20% drop, essentially,
it is,
of people that actually believe they will actually have wealth.
404-741-1230 is the number. John's on the phone. What's on your mind, John?
Hey, guys. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll take it for Tuesday.
John. How are you, sir?
I lost count. I just wanted to call and see, and this isn't like a smart tail question or nothing. What do you guys think the solution is? So Trump becomes president.
Mm-hmm.
So what next? I mean, he did run up our inflation is part of his problem. $8 trillion in 4 years. So he put $8 trillion worth of debt into our economy in a 4-year time period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything conservative at all about Donald Trump either. So that's what, especially from a financial standpoint. And so I'm just wondering, what do you guys think the solution is? Is he going to come in and slice prices in half for houses? And
no, John.
Minimum wage be $40? I mean, I'm just asking.
Thank you for the call, John. You'll never consider voting for him, John.
Yeah.
But here's the fun part. Yes, the spending is what it was. And you look at so much of it was 2020 spending, which then your side decided to make it a baseline of pandemic spending and say, well, we're only going to take spending up a little bit more from here. Well, pandemic spending was $2 trillion more than we were spending at any point in the country over the last 10 years.
Donald Trump had a spending problem. There's no doubt about it. That's not what led to inflation. And see, that's where people who watch CNN and MSNBC don't pay attention enough to how the economy works. What caused inflation was getting rid of energy independence. So the first thing that Donald Trump will do to fix it is bring back energy independence. We'll start selling gas again. We'll start bringing it in. We'll lower the price when that gas price comes back down, because remember, the inflation rate at the end of the presidency for Donald Trump was 1.77. It only skyrocketed after companies decided, hold on, petroleum's costing us too much. We can't make phones the same price. We can't make paint. We can't make lumber. We can't. All of that happened because of the way that Jan 20 happened when we signed away our energy independence.
Well, let's point out the difference in how we look at things. John, your side wants to make as many people connected to government as possible. My side wants to make them as independent of government as possible, big government. And so if we just talk about the idea of let's free our American energy across the board, you're going to drive costs down. That's not a matter of I'm going to slash these prices or I'm going to change this. No, one side realizes that they need people dependent on government. The other side doesn't want people dependent on government.
Pretty
and
simple.
That's all it is.
No, it is. And the last thing that anybody is going to do if they are dependent on government is excel. If that would be the case, look at these welfare programs. If people dependent on government do better, then why are all the same people still on welfare? It's never worked.
They've never changed.
It never will work. You've got to you've got to create an economy where people have opportunity. And the Democrats do not want that to happen. They never have, and they never will.
No, because what the Democrats have done is put one group in a generational poorness, and that's what they are going to be, and they're going to keep them there because they're votes, and they're going to continue to pander to that group. The truth of the matter is this. One side likes to spend, and they will continue to spend and have done that even through a recession, even through times when people don't have money. They're coming to you to raise more money. They're taking it from you to send to Ukraine, to send to Israel, to send to Indonesia and everywhere else, Indochina. They are trying whatever they can to make sure that they take your money and you're supposed to live off of them. And these groups are living off of them. They haven't moved out of poverty. They're not going to move out of poverty. Janet Yellen, the Democrat, told you will never get out of poverty. Why? And she's in charge of your financial situation because they're taking it and spending it. Don't get me wrong. Donald Trump spent too much money. But you know what he wasn't spending on? He's also willing to cut it. The Democrats are not willing to cut any kind of program.
Well, there was always going to be inflation tied to 2020.
Has to be.
That was always going to be
the supply chain was interrupted, and then just the flow of products, having injected money, not enough products, and that still hasn't worked.
But when you
out.
look at what the spending was, like for instance, the last year of the Obama administration, when you're looking at about $4.8 trillion, and then it basically lasted right around in there, $4.8 to $5 trillion was the government spending until 2020. And then it went to 7.7 because we printed money to hand it out to people.
That's exactly
and
right.
then that became the baseline.
Checks.
That became the baseline by which the Democrats now operate and say, well, 2020, here's where it is. Like, hold on a second. You're now living $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion more than even we were talking about during the Obama administration or in the first 3 years of Donald Trump. And you think that this is somehow going to work out well to keep printing and spending money?
Never does. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution for over 20 years. Reach out to them today, 8779-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, May 14th. An absolutely horrifying and disgusting incident is how Dr. Sabine Lovell describes what happened to her at a Whole Foods store in Chamblee. The doctor recounts that while she was bending down to grab a bag of chips, a man in his late 20s or 30s ejaculated on her back. Initially mistaking it for spilled coffee, she turned around only to witness a man hastily zipping up his pants before she began screaming and chasing after him. Police are currently searching for a black male, approximately 5 foot 11 inches tall, who fled the scene in a black Kia Niro. Former Facebook and Nike DEI executive Barbara Furlow Smiles has been sentenced to over 5 years in prison for embezzling more than $5 million from the companies. In addition to serving time, Furlow Smiles has been ordered to repay the stolen sum. She utilized company credit cards to finance her lavish lifestyle across both California and in Georgia. And in sports, Zach Short, standing in for third baseman Austin Riley, made his first start count by breaking a scoreless tie with a run-scoring double in the 6th inning. Ronald Acuna Jr. followed up with a single to bring in Short, leading the Braves to a 2-0 victory over the Chicago Cubs at Truist Park yesterday. Tonight, Chris Sale will take to the mound for Game 2 against the Cubs. First pitch scheduled for 7:20.
When we come back, privilege is not a bad word, and a comedian ain't afraid to point it out. Next on Extra 106.3 and the Morning Xtra as we wrap up the show. We're on the air until 10.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, what the hell's going on with him? The former Lieutenant Governor has now come out, one-term Republican, has now come out to say he's going to vote for Joe Biden.
Doesn't care about the country, just cares about himself.
Yeah.
And that's a Georgia Republican Party in a nutshell.
That's right.
There.
That's
the whole
exactly.
Republican Party in a nutshell. They don't give a damn, more like the Democrats don't give a damn about this country. All they care about is their party and their power.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Man, I tried the chicken fettuccine Alfredo. It was from True Prep, and it was freeze-dried and ready to go. And I got to be honest, it was so delicious. That's what I love about True Prep, is they have such a great selection of freeze-dried food, already prepackaged, ready to go. It's great for camping. It's great for taking everywhere with you. But they also have everything you need to do to make sure that you are prepared in case of an emergency. Maybe you're new to prepping, and that's cool, because right now, more than ever, you need to make sure that your family is safe and has all the essentials they need. And True Prep, they're your one-stop shop for preparedness and preparedness supply. So you got to go check them out. Not to mention, let me tell you about some of the workshops that they put on. They have a great event calendar right there on TruePrep.com, and they got some great events coming up. In fact, this Thursday night, they have the U.S. Law Shield Firearms Legal Defense Seminar. That's right. They do things just for the community, and you can become a part of that. Also, this weekend, they've got Intro to Water Filtration and Storage coming up, along with long-term food storage, freeze-dried foods, and Mylar demo. That's right. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. You can get all the tools you need right there in Marietta on Cobb Parkway at True Prep. Now, go to their website, TruePrep.com. Click on the event calendar and see all the great things coming up. They even have a free Stop the Bleed medical class. In case of an emergency, you need to learn that. Or what if you got an AR-15? They even have a Builder Armorer class by Precision Applications. Check them out. They're locally owned and operated. They also have a blood drive because they do give back to the community. TruePrep.com. That's TRU Prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with our friends at True Prep.
Hi, I'm Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack. We specialize in only foundation repair. What is foundation repair? Foundations sink or settle. These issues need to be addressed. It only becomes more costly the longer you put it off. What is the biggest cause of foundation problem? Either poor construction, inferior site preparation, or weather. Drought causes cracks in your foundations. If you see any signs of foundation issues, please contact us at atlantaramjack.com.
Insurance companies know that you don't know a lot about the law, so maybe it would be better just to let your lawyer make the call to the insurance company when there's a problem. David Van Sant should be that lawyer. He used to work for the insurance company. He knows who to call, what to say, and he has your best interest at heart. Plus, if you don't get paid, either does he. Van Sant Law, 855 GA Injury or vansantlaw.com.
Shop with the experts. A 5-carat certified colorless tennis bracelet is just $1,650 at cleanorigin.com or our retail stores. Mention code RADIO10 for 10% off.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Extra 106.3 is proud to be your conservative voice in Atlanta, and we offer a huge slate of original podcasts. Head over to thepodcastpark.com and grab the podcast that you love, all presented by Associated Credit Union.
Y'all know Jerry Seinfeld was the speaker for the graduation at Duke, and some people focused on the wrong thing at that graduation. We'll get into that another time. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. I want you to hear what Jerry Seinfeld had to say about privilege. His explanation is dead on. It's spot on.
Privilege is a word that has taken quite a beating lately. Privilege today seems to be the worst thing you can have. I would like to take a moment to defend it. Again, a lot of you are thinking, I can't believe they invited this guy. Too late. I say, use your privilege. I grew up a Jewish boy from New York. That is a privilege if you want to be a comedian. I now have an honorary doctorate of humane letters degree from Duke University. And if I can figure out a way to use that, I will. My point is we're embarrassed about things we should be proud of and proud of things we should be embarrassed about. So on my staff in the 90s, we had a lot of Harvard guys. They were fantastic, but I could never understand why these guys were so embarrassed about being from Harvard. They would never talk about it. They would never mention it. I'm not talking about Harvard now. I'm talking about the way it used to be. You're never going to believe this. Harvard used to be a great place to go to school. You didn't fake your fabulous education. You earned it. Be proud of it.
And that's what he went on to say about Duke University. You've come to Duke and you've worked your tail off. You've graduated. You should be proud of it.
Yeah.
I love what he said, and I love the fact that people walked out because we get to see who the buffoons are.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave. Nobody cares. And the thing I love about this is nobody really paid him attention. Jerry didn't pay him attention. Others didn't pay him attention. They want to benefit from the hard work they put in at Duke. And it's a great school. And I hope they all that stayed in that audience and listened to Jerry also go on to hopefully do some great things, because that's what that school's about.
I still remember when I finished my undergraduate degree, and the guest speaker we had was she was a CEO of a Dallas company, and she got up in front of us and she told us flat out, it is not easy. It's like, you have now taken this first step, but this will not be easy. You're competing against all these people in the job market. There was a little bit of harsh truth there, but I still remember it because it was the first person who told me, like, on my day of graduation, you're going to be competing against people that have so much more experience than you. You're going to have to excel and work harder. That was valuable. I'm hoping that they were able to take the same thing from Jerry Seinfeld, obviously a legend of comedy, to sit there and tell them, don't be offended by your own accomplishments.
No, be proud of them. You should. You freaking worked your tail off.
It's like, you got to this point now tell them, now you got to go to war.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to earn it every day.
But understand that what you've done to this point, you should be proud of. You should not be embarrassed by being a college grad from Duke.
No, that's and he's exactly right. I love the way he put it, Rhino. He's like, we've got everything flip-flopped. He was like, we're embarrassed by the things we should be proudest of and proudest of the things that we should be embarrassed of. And he's exactly right. Look at the chaos around the country. Like, the news reports it as if this is, the greatest day of the world when you have people protesting that are anti-Israel, that are anti-Semitic, and they're propped up. They've given screen time. We shouldn't give those fools anything. Let's give the attention to the kids that are graduating college and doing well.
Yeah, because the only time you get rid of those annoying little Democrats is to ignore them, and they'll go away. You don't hear from any of those people from Duke. They're not throwing up. They're not, throwing up their signs and putting up all their stuff anymore. Nobody's paying them attention. Leave them alone. They're little spoiled little children, and that's the best part. I love that you should be proud of graduating. You should be proud of graduating high school. You should be proud of graduating elementary school. You should be proud if you're doing work, putting in the hard work, and getting something done. That's the kind of stuff I want to see.
Yeah.
By the way, can I go back real quick to what Liberal John said? I just want to bring up this stat that kind of proves our point. Here are the top 5 states, by the way.
Remind the people what he said.
Well, first of all, he blames Donald Trump for the debt in this country and the $1 trillion of debt and the problems that we're going to have and how you're going to fix it. Here are the states, the top 5 states with the most debt: New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Massachusetts, California. What does that tell you about those states? Most debt. They're in trouble. They have run up debt so much. They're also, I went and made sure, the highest tax states because they take from the citizens to pay off the debt for their ridiculous spending. So, John, you can keep going and feeding alcoholics alcohol. You can keep going, giving them drug needles and using taxpayer money for that. And this is where you'll end up. If you really believe that Donald Trump's a problem, move to one of these 5 cities and go and enjoy the debt and the destruction that they've done to them.
John, I would like just to let you know that I didn't give you a second thought.
Also funny. Yeah. Also funny, Willis is still a hoe.
I'm sorry, you just never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
It's just because
I appreciate you, but nothing sticks to me. I just kind of go, all right.
Important.
I'm here for you. You're not here for me.
Right.
But to Rhino's point, he's not wrong.
Stupid. Open your eyes and see it.
There's a reason people are moving to the red states so quickly. And that's just part of it. What Rhino wrapped off. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. That'll do it for us. We're going to turn this thing over to the Glenn Beck program from 10 until noon until 3. It is Buck Sexton and Clay Travis. Clay was out yesterday. It was Buck by himself. I believe Clay is back today from his one-day vacation. And then this afternoon, the incredible, the uncompromised, the Marine, the Kimmer Peterson. He's on 3 until 6, along with Flounder and Pete, too. Keep it here on Extra 106.3 for great conservative discussion throughout the day that you can get on the Extra 106.3 app. Download that wherever you get your apps. Searching for XTRA 106.3 FM Atlanta. For Rhino, for Los, for Board Op Goey, Virgin River. My name is Tug, y'all. Come back now. You hear?
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
I don't feel like talking about this stupid idiot Biden. What a scumbag! Where does he get the balls to come out and say, "I'm not even going to play the thing on the war and the money for Israel"? Where does he get the balls to say, "If you go into Rafah, we're not going to give you the weapons to go into Rafah"? I mean, my God!
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.